And we're live at 8:45. Welcome to the house of Scotty P. And yeah, it's a big whopping Thursday. And, just decided that tonight we're going to go on. Past couple of nights have been a little bit challenging to say the least. So now we are live and we are doing this. And I think this is pretty good. Hopefully, this is good for you as well. Meanwhile, I am going to see if I can do some other things here real quick. Trying to multitask. Stand by for news. Yep. Been working and doing and struggling like everybody. Okay, I didn't have enough. Right on the back. I go, okay. Okay. All right. Oh, all right. That works. Cool. I'm watching. Hey, Lindy. Hey, Cheeto, how you doing? Good to see you. I'm glad to see you. I hope everything's going well by you all. Trust everything's going well by you. I am just trying to do, I don't know, trying to do multiple things at one time. How's it going down under? Hey, Cheeto, what have you been up to? Are you good? I hope so. I'm going to do this for me to. I'm trying to see if I can send myself some pictures. Send some pictures of the completed fireplace. Yep, I finally finished it. And I have photographical representation of the completion of that, but I need to find that stuff. So let me find it. All's good? Good? No, sorry. And no one has any, I'll take it that no one has any jaundice or anything like that. I hope not. We'll go with that picture right there. And we'll add another one. And let's see what that attach a file. And I don't know if this one will make it. Will it make it or not? I don't know. We'll go with that one. Yeah. Yeah, trying to do all this technology at the same time. Wow, everybody's popping in. That's great. Hey, Susan, how'd the trip go? How'd the move go? We were praying for you. I hope you know that. You're back home safe and sound, have a vehicle. Amen, amen, amen. I'm so glad to hear that. No scurvy. Good. I'm so happy to hear that. And the move went well then? I hope so. I know that that was a big concern. That was a lot of driving. You had 3 trucks and all the stuff of the peoples. That's good stuff. And I am making the attempt, mind you, and I do say the attempt to do some technology stuff. Oh, I don't know what this is here. Oh, I know what that is. Check interesting. Oh, I know what I can do. Let's go back to this one. So there was nothing. Yeah, praise the Lord. I'm glad to hear that. So no big snafu, no situations along the way that didn't work for you. And that's important because when we're moving, it's too easy to leave something somewhere, misplace something gets broke. You've been missing. Well, we've been missing you. And, I haven't been on this week. I took off from last week, and I think I did it the other night. Did I do it Monday night? I'm not sure, but I know I didn't do it Tuesday or Wednesday night. And I've been relaxing because I've had some really, really, what is going on here? Tough days, to be honest with you. They were just absolutely, I want to say, brutal. And anyhow, long short of that whole diatribe is things have been tough. And so I took the nights off. A couple close calls on the interstate. Yeah, it's amazing. We are so absolutely blessed so often to travel on our interstates as much as we do and not have accidents, right? And so there we go. I now have my, all right. All I want to do is I right click that and I want to, no, there we go. That's what I do. I want to take this, I want to download it, download, and download. I wonder if I could do this. I can. I can do this. I can. All right, great. Hey, how you doing, Laura? Good to see you. Welcome back. People fly on that interstate. Yes, they do. But now you have a car. Yes, you do. Let me see if I can bring this up. I want to share with everybody, okay? Stand by. Share screen. I'm going to share a screen. Will it let me do that? I don't know. Yes. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. There is what I've been working on for all this time. It's almost a full moon coming up over. You can see we have a fireplace now. It's all in. Cleaned up almost everything here. These lights don't belong here. I need to take those and move them. I need to move the lights. So that means I have to get up on a ladder, unscrew a bunch of lights, screw a bunch of lights. You know that routine. But this is what I've been working on now for almost 3 years. I know, huh? Crazy stuff. Let's see if we can look at this one. There it is. There's another picture of it. And we'll embiggen it. And I had a little fire. It's so funny because that was, that was a good size, log, but that's almost, what is that? It's a little over 3 feet right there. So I can put some pretty big logs in there. But this is what I've been working on all this time. Just working on that and working on getting the pavilion done. And, we had to, I went to the fella, a friend of mine, put all the shingle up here and building the chimney. Finally, I had to get custom pieces done. And we fired it up tonight. We're going to do a big fire in it starting tomorrow. And then the cold weather comes and we'll get a chance. And this is just a little ramp. I had to actually build it because I have some pipes that run on this side of my fence line. They go back here and they go right back here. You can barely see right back here. If you look real careful, there's a little pile of dirt here. I'm making a little pond so I can drain my pool into it. But anyway, that is that tonight. Yep, there we go. All right, we're done with all that. No, there's no barbecue. No barbecue going out here. No, we are, that's just a place to relax. That's a place for me to unwind, a place for the wife to unwind. It may be a place for me to play my guitar or and entertain people, to do Bible studies, etc. But no barbecue out there. Thank you for the kind words. Thank you very much. Let me listen. Oh, well, it's a long drive here, that's for sure. Not a full one time. A semi truck tried to miss a tire. Oh, that's right. You know at those times, Susan, that's when God is with you, right? Hey, Ellen. Hi. Yes, I'm on tonight. I took a couple nights off. Last week we discussed it, and then this week has been tough. And just trying to stay on top of things. And the one gentleman I'm helping today, after doing all this and working and doing and building the fireplace. Oh, and you can't tell inside that picture, but the whole inside of the ceiling of the pavilion, I painted black. So, like when you go to a restaurant and you look up and you don't see a ceiling, it just goes up and it's black and you don't really see anything. Well, that's what I've done up there. Yeah, took a break. And definitely a God thing, Susan, definitely. But I tell you, the things I've signed up for, and the things that have been laid before my feet have been pretty consuming. And this one gentleman I'm trying to help, along with his grandson, that is a near full-time thing. And this afternoon I'm working. So we're going to have a couple friends over on Saturday. And the back part of the pavilion, you keep looking away from what the picture was. You keep going to the back. The back part of that pavilion, there is an open field. And then across from that field, there is a pumpkin patch place, right? And so you can't really see it in either of the pictures. I have to do better on my pictures. I apologize. But I'll bring it back up again. But yeah, you see here, out here to the back is where the pumpkin patch is. And this Saturday is the end of their year. And they're doing a big fireworks display. And I have to be honest, it's a really good fireworks display. And so you can kind of see my cursor here. I don't know can you see the cursor? No, you can't. But in the back area toward the trees. So all from here to the house is about 100 feet. And then from here to the back is about, I don't know, another 100 or more feet, maybe 150, 200 feet. And then, and you can see that I have to make a pathway yet. This is just over the grass. So my next big project is maybe some walls and then a pathway. But anyhow, we're going to sit out there on Saturday night and have a good old time watching the fireworks. So, but that's all back that way. Anyhow, but I was working on that today and I got a call. The gentleman we've been trying to help, who just got out of the rehab center last week because he ran out of insurance and had nowhere to go. So they sent him home. And each day I've been going over there almost every day to do something. The first couple of days I was literally the one picking him up and take him out of a chair and put him into bed, get him out of bed, into the chair, getting calls to clean up things and do things that were hard. Well, I got a call today. Actually, I got multiple calls today. And I got a call from him at 2:22. I got another call at 2:23. 10 minutes later, I got 2 phone calls from another friend. He had fallen. And I had a key. And I'm probably the only one strong enough to pick him up. So I dropped everything I was doing, literally ran, got in the car, drove by there, got him okay. He's okay. Amen. Praise the Lord. He's stronger than he was when we brought him home. He was able to get on his own knees, but he couldn't get up the rest of the way. Anyhow, those have been my days, so I didn't really feel like it. Last night I didn't do anything. And the night before, I did a little gaming. I even had my little controller hooked up, and I did a little gaming. But even that was disinteresting. I was just so tired. Anyhow, we are back, and we are talking about good things. So let's get on with it. Non-scale victories. You didn't gain weight. Hey, you did what you had to do. You were flexible. You adapted. You were, but flex on the fly. That's a win. That's a significant win. Good on you. I was telling a couple guys at the dog park night about Carnival WE, one in particular who had mentioned some health. Hey, there you go, Ellen. There you go. That's the way we do it. Yep. Good to have the team together. Good to have the team together. Yep. Safe travels, moving. Yep. We did. Everybody was praying. Well, I don't know if everybody was praying, but I know a number of us were. And we commented almost nightly. Then that's the important part. We miss you, but we knew what you're doing, and now you have a car. Hey, Renee, good to see you. How are you? Good to see you. Again, the team is back together. Hey, Backwoods, how are you? Good to see you. Hello to everybody. That's right. I know the good Dr. Chafee is on. I also know they're doing the football thing also. So I am deeply in debt to you and would like to be able to express more gratitude for you all being here with me and joining me tonight. I really do appreciate that. That's just absolutely amazing. Thank you. So, what have we been doing, everybody? I kind of missed you. I know what was going on for some, but I don't know what everybody else was doing. What have we been doing? What's been going on? I know that the world's still on fire. It's still burning like crazy, as promised. And what are you going to do, right? What are you going to do? And I have a nice big cup of coffee right here. Yes, I do. Mmm. A little butter, a little cocoa, and a little cocoa butter. Mmm. It's good. I like it. It's decaf though because it's getting late. Yep. Clearing land. Oh boy. And I need firewood, but it's too far to drive. Yep, you betcha. No, we're just glad to have you back. I'm glad that you're here and you're safe now. And now you have a vehicle, so that's going to help you, right? That's going to help you get around a bit. At least I hope so. Mm. You know, there are things in our lives that we crave. There are things in our lives that hold sway over us, right? And we say that because it's kind of a negative thing. And I could say that about coffee, but it's such a comfort. And knowing I'm having decaf coffee, I know the chemicals probably aren't great for me, but hey, I love it. Now, we're talking about some non-scale victories, so let me give a couple to you. Today, my wife has been working a part-time gig at the pumpkin patch. She's trying to help out people with their business, and she is a extreme worker. My wife, when she goes to work, she's there to work. We used to work together at the same Army hospital, different functions. Obviously, there was no overlapping. That would have been a bridge too far. But the thing is that we went to work all the time, and you all would not believe this. You won't believe this, but I like to talk. I know. Surprise, surprise. Gotta pull it out of me. Get it out of me. I know. My wife, on the other hand, there's a job. You hit the clock. You do the job. I don't know why you're here talking to me. I'm working. Can't you see I'm working? Working. Go away. Right? And then we'd go do lunch together because we were that cute couple. And we'd go to the lunchroom. And people would come by and go, "Aw." And there we are. They come in the lunchroom to get their stuff out of the refrigerator. Aw, so cute, doing lunch together. And there we are. We'd bring our food in and we'd do our little lunch together. And she had 30 minutes. Did she get an hour? I can't remember. Anyway, she always ran back early. Always had to be there. On time is late, right? And work. And if the day was over at 4 o'clock, at 4 o'clock, she would start to shut down and be ready to go. She didn't start at 3:30, kind of hang till 4 o'clock. So, boom. Her work ethic is exemplary. And when you put mine to hers, well, hers is off the scale and mine is just, bouncing around there, I do my job. I was a good worker. Yeah. Anyway, but she works out here at the pumpkin patch and she does a lot of work and very physically demanding. I would not have thought it was going to be that demanding. I mean, demanding that you have to stand on your feet for the whole time, right? But she told me yesterday she was making batter for funnel cakes. Well, she had to use a great big, huge motorized, made by Harley Davidson or something, great big wand. And when you start up, it wants to pull you as she made the batter. Gallons and gallons and gallons of batter. And then there's doing the lemonade. Well, lemonade, how's lemonade going to be tough, right? Well, when you have to cut every single lemon and then take the lemon, put the lemon on the stand, then pull the head out, press the lemon, put the lemon in the cup. Get another lemon if it's a large. Press the lemon, put it in the cup. Then mix it all up. And you do that all day long. Tough stuff. I almost went to work there with her. I mean, we're both retired and they're all our friends. I could have go to work with them, but I remember the stories from last year with our friends about if you're not careful and you show up and you say, yeah, I'll work for you, and you don't put any limits on it, they put you on the schedule for each day. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So they're closed Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. But the other 4 days, they'll put you on for 12 hours a day. The missus, bless her, she said, I'll work for you, but I'm not going to work any nights. So they put her basically from 1 to 5. Sometimes she goes in a little early. Sometimes she goes in on Tuesdays to prepare. She is the expert for making kettle corn. And she comes home and she smells like kettle corn. I'm like, oh. And then, I mean, I already love her enough to eat her up, yum. But I mean, like, or cotton candy or everything. So she does really good. And she works really hard. She works really long. And, well, anyhow, in all that, she had done a remarkable job to keep from bringing home bags of caramel corn and caramel apples and all the goodies they sell out there at the farm. But anyway, non-scale victories are in dealing with all this change, right? And dealing with all the work on the pavilion and the fireplace and the guy who's ill and doing stuff at church and doing all these different things. Today we went to Costco because I had a nice cheap date in mind. Yeah, this guy, right? And we went to Costco because you can get a hot dog, an all beef hot dog, quarter pounder, $1.50. So yeah, we had that. We did a little shopping, had a hot dog, no bun. And walking around, we went through the pharmaceutical area, the pharmacy area. We walked by all the medications like Dimetapp and then NyQuil and Theraflu, and I realized I haven't been sick in a while. Now my asthma still gives me a little problems, and yeah, I'll need to take my decongestant. What do I take? Oh, what do I take? Zyrtec for antihistamine, right? I take Zyrtec, and when I do that, now they're harvesting the cotton and the beans now, the soybeans, and that puts a lot up in the air. And I tell you what, yeah, if I don't take that stuff, I can hear my chest starts wheezing pretty bad. Yes, thank you, Ellen. God has definitely blessed me, and I think that God continues to bless her in spite of me. Your non-scale victory, coworker, pre-dev, and husband tried to convert it after seeing my results. Amen, amen, and amen. That is awesome. That is awesome, backward. There is nothing better than that. I'm sorry, but that's awesome. Love it that people are getting healthy. A friend who recently had head surgery needs prayer for mental. It's okay. Uh-oh. Well, prayer is probably the only place we can go. What is it? But only some of these are only by prayer and fasting. There may be some fasting required along the way there, particularly for her. Yep. Yeah. One of the things also today, so we had the hot dog today, right? And then for lunch, we went out and we were doing some shopping and doing some, the things you have to do as a home. And we went to our local Mexican restaurant, one of three we like to go to. One is in our town, one is just north, the other is a little further north, but none of them are more than 6 miles away. I went to it and we got this dish. I don't remember the name of it, right? The Fiesta plate. The Fiesta plate comes with beef, chicken, and shrimp, broccoli on a bed of rice with a bunch of cheese. Well, we ordered that. We get one plate and we split it. And I get to eat a lot of the meat, so I eat the meat. And I had some broccoli. Yesterday we ate at a local eatery, and I had mainly chicken and ham. But they have this really wonderful peach cobbler, and the wife got some. And you know what I did? I had a little bit of that peach cobbler. I did. I ate one whole peach, not a whole peach, like one slice. You know how they come out of a can. One slice, one peach, and I didn't eat as much crust as that finger right there. That finger. That's it. Right? And the missus, she made a comment. I said, I see you're eating a few things kind of not on the carnivore. You still carnivore? And, oh, yeah. But I'm going to, I had collard greens last night. Yeah, collard greens. And I like collard greens. And you can eat a bucket of them. And if you don't have a oxalate problem, if you don't have one of those and you're not eating them all the time, I don't think a little bit of that in your diet is at all bad. Right? We're going to find out. But I will say this. Like I had mentioned, I think late last week, I went and tried on a pair of pants. And I said, these are never going to fit. Because I was running about a 46-inch waist, and those were a little tight. Not all my 46s were tight, but most of my 46s were snug. I didn't need a belt. Well, now with my 46s, I need more than a belt. I need suspenders, and because they'd all fan folded in. It's like funny how my pants look like they're way too big, and the legs are way too big. So I grabbed this pair of pants off the top of my shelf, way up there. The pants I don't use and I don't barely look at. I grabbed them down and I pulled them out. Wow, these are brand new. They still have the tags on them. Well, I looked at the tag, and the tag said not 44, but 42. I was like, I don't know. I don't know smalls. But they kind of have a stretchy waistband. So I said, you know what? I'll do it. I'll get in them. I'll try them. You know how it is when you try pants on, right? You know how it is. You can tell once your calves get into those pants whether they're going to work for you or not. I know many a time I've tried on some 44s I have, and I get in the calves, and then it gets about mid-thigh, and I go, this is not going to work. And then when you get it all the way up, and you go, and there's a gap about 3 inches, and you go, well, not yet. Not this month, Scotty. Well, they come off, and then, when you peel them off, they just grab everywhere. You can barely get them off. So I got the 44s, and I'm thinking to myself, Sal, what you going to do? Well, I popped them on, and they went past the calves. They went past the thighs. They went over the backside. And I'll be gosh darned if when I put them together, they went right together. And be like, no stretchy. And they actually were. I'm wearing them now, and I need a belt. So 1.5 thumbs up for Scotty. Yeah. Yep. All right. Non-scale. Okay, let's go. These are my favorite non-scale. Helping just one person. You're right about that. You are so right. Get into smaller clothes. Yep. Hey, Michael, good to see you. Good to hello. Welcome back. Where's Horseshack? Okay. Oh, hey there. How are you? Good to see you. I can finally get my wedding ring. Oh. Well, but you leave them on anyway. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. I know. That's good. Good to see everybody. Yeah, good to see everyone. All right. Yep, that's wonderful. Yeah, that, I tell you what, great non-scale ring. Now, this is my wedding ring, and no, I can't get it off. But I suppose I'm retaining a little bit of water, you know, but I do that. But I have noticed I have something. I found something. I have these points. You know where your feet are? And you know how your feet, no, of course, that's the end of your legs. And your feet, they kind of like rest on the ground. And when you come up from them, right, you get a little farther up and you have your calf, then you have your knee, right? Well, for most of us. Well, down really far down near the ground, I found these pointy things are sticking out of both sides of my feet. Ankles, I presume? I've had cankles for so long, it ain't even funny. I have points down at my feet. I love it. I don't know if I can see them now. And not so much. All right, yep, there it is. I got it. It's right there. I got a point. Woo! Oh, definitely on that one. Yeah. So what does that mean? It means that my water retention isn't so doggone pronounced. Yep. All right. Okay, let's go look at a few more of these. Let's go look. Okay, we got that with wedding fingers. Wedding fingers. Yep. All right. Great at his feet. Okay. 33 years you're vested. I know what you mean. I've got 32. So we were married in 91. I guess you were married in 90. Wow. How the years roll by. Ankles versus cankles. That's right. That's right. I came here for the steak and I stayed for the ankles. That'd be a great t-shirt. A lot of people wouldn't understand it, right? Oh, good night, Backwoods. Take care. Thank you for coming by. I know there's a lot of places you could be. You chose to be here with us. God bless. Take care. Be safe out there, all right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that'd be a great t-shirt. Only a few people would understand that. Not everybody would understand it. Came for the steak, stayed for the ankles. That's funny. Could you imagine? I wonder what that graphic would look like. What would a graphic like that look like? You could have a steak symbol on one side, like a steak, like a nice T-bone. Everybody knows a T-bone, right? The ubiquitous T-bone. Ladies and gentlemen, of the T-bone steak. Well, anyway, so you have a T-bone. And then you can put the chemical sign yield to, it looks like an arrow, but only half the arrow, yield. And you could put steak, yield, and then just put a foot with an ankle, right? I think that'd be funny. I'm a funny guy. I think funny stuff. All right? Everybody who's ever had a cankle can absolutely appreciate an ankle. Oh, here's another one, another non-scale victory. Look how long the camera makes my arm look like. It's freakishly long. What's wrong with Scotty's arms? They're so long. No, I think that today, so I've been working on this pavilion, right? And I know it dominates my landscape. Well, I've been on the roof and off the roof. Things were falling off the roof yesterday, but not me, because I was very careful. Oh boy, did I get emotional yesterday. Yeah, cankles. Yeah, Ellen, you're right about that. So I'm on the roof, and I'm trying to get the little squeeze gun that you use to do caulking with. I have a cheap one. I think I should say I had a cheap one. Anyway, you take your little caulk tube or whatever the tube is, glue, whatever, polyurethane, whatever you do. And not polyurethane. And you take off the little needle on the front, you whip it around, you poke it in there a couple times, you make sure it's letting out after you cut the tip off, right? You put it in your little gun, you clickety, 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 click to bring the plunger in. And then you take it and you start laying your bead of caulk around whatever you're trying to caulk, right? Clickety, 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 click, and it pushes it out. Clickety, 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 click. Well, I have my little clickety click, I'm clickety, 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 clickety. I said clickety, click, and nothing was coming out. And I'm getting a little emotional. So, hey, Nana. So here I am with my caulking gun with my material in it. And I'm like, I told you to expel the contents of the tube. It's what you're supposed to do. Clickety click. It's not doing it. So I unload it, I reload it, and I go clickety 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 click, clickety clickety click, click, click. It's not doing it. I go one more click, click, and it's not giving me the. And I said, okay, one more time, I'm gonna undo it. And I undid it, and right then, a little bit came out. I was like, okay, good. It's working now. Reload, put it in, turn the handle. Clickety, clickety, click, clickety, clickety. I should click. And nothing's coming out. So I said, I'll beat you. And I grabbed it with my big old mitt. And it came out. The back. The worst thing is, it was tar. See, I was laying tar on my roof to go over the flashing around the base of the chimney. You know, you don't want any water coming in. You don't want any rot coming in. Clicky, 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 click, clicky, clicky, click. And now it's coming up the back. It's everywhere. I'm on the roof. Did I mention I was on the roof with the pitch? So what am I going to do? I just adapted and overcame and clicked down and then took the canister out and used my finger and swooped it and gooped it. Yes, I did. But now I've got goop all over my hand. I have tar on my hands. I'm on the roof. Oh, I forgot to mention, we have a wasp nest nearby. I don't know where this wasp nest is, but they wasps. I'm on the roof. I got tar on my hands. I got to stand up. I got to move around. Don't want to grab my freshly painted chimney with tar because it's kind of a nice green, olive green color. I don't want to. Could have fallen. Could have lost my cool. But I'm a carnivore. Carnivores don't lose their cool, do they? Because we mentally agile. We are flexible. We are adaptable, right? High speed, low drag. So I wiped my hands on the roof, got it all done. I said, since I'm in it, since I was covered in the tar, I just going to do it. Did it, wiped up. Got it best as I could. Then I had that tar. I got the roofing tiles. Kind of buffed it on there because that's the tar on the roof, right? And I went down the ladder and thought to go clean my hands. Took a whole day. They're still not totally clean. You can see let's see, that fingernail. Yeah, that fingernail. Still got it. That's tar. Tar, I tell you. Man. But it's done. It's done right. It's done good. But man, no more clickety click. Click. Never again. No. Anyway, it was fun times. So, Nana, good to see you. Nana, you missed it. We were talking about cankles a minute ago. We'll have to make a T-shirt with that. Oh, you think too many Westerns or The Godfather. Well, I did see a little bit of some Westerns. But do you know I'm probably one of the only humans on the planet Earth? Okay, one of the only male humans in America. I've never seen The Godfather. I do not like gratuitous violence at all. I dealt in that business for enough years between being in the bouncer and being in the military. I do not like violence. It upsets me to the core of my being. So I don't do any violence like that. There are no prison movies. Now, I will do the shoot 'em up like Arnold Schwarzenegger and the Terminator and all that. particularly when I was younger, but I just don't like it. I don't do well in that, Sam. I am. A defective tube. I'll tell you it was a defective tube. No, actually, you know what I think it was, Alan? I think I poked a hole in it. Yes, I got the tar on the pin. I probably should have poked more. And I had a bigger rod to come and poke it with, but it fell off the roof, as did a couple of things. And I was busy trying not to fall off the roof. I'd been up and down the ladder a number of times. I am getting up and down the ladder much better. And I will tell you, I was on scaffolding. And that, well, that, my friend, was scary. I'm standing on this scaffolding, and it's only at the 6-foot height, give or take. But it was rickety, you know. And I'm out in the middle of the pavilion, and it was kind of. And I got up via a ladder, and then I get on and shaking. I'm like on my knees. I'm trying to stand up, and the wife was having a good laugh because it had to be funny. Me trying to stand up on this little surfboard moving. I got a smot, and I took a 2x4 that's 8 foot long. I put it down along the inside stairs, but along the top, and I could use it as a handrest to help pull myself up. Just a little bit of something solid to keep me from rocking the whole time. It was nerve-wracking, I tell you. But I wanted to get it done. I got it done. Yes, I did. Did you cut a hole in the tube? Yes, I cut a hole in the tube at the beginning. You gotta, and you know, most people don't know it, but there's a little hole right there by the handle. You can just stick the tube in the hole, and go, and it will cut it off for you. You don't even have to take a knife up there with you. Yeah, but I did it. And then the poker thing. Oh, with the little poker thing at the front that you swing around. Ooh, yeah, and yeah, I did it. You know the problem with that little poker thing, though? That little poker thing only works if you cut back pretty far on the tube. So like, let's say you want to make a little bead. So you bevel the edge and you cut just a little bit of the tip off, right? You know, you take your little razor knife and well, the poker isn't long enough then. Someone should have thought a little more about that, but I got it. The Adventures of Scotty P. Yep, that's right. No feathers. I'd been tarred and feathered. Yeah, I see where the birds have been hanging out up there, and that's something I have to take care of too, because what we did with the fireplace. Matter of fact, for those of you who didn't see the piece de resistance, there it is, of the fireplace. And if I try to be smarter than the average bear, let's see if we can do it like this. There you go. There's the other picture, and we'll embiggen it. Well, you can't really see. Okay. If you look at this part up here, see here, you can't see it because I painted it all black. Even the chimney pipe painted black. Well, that ledge is big enough for this fireplace to be in, and the wasps that were attacking me were right back here in the back, on the back side, so directly behind here. If you were to follow this piece of soffit and this piece of soffit and find the intersection point right here, that's where they're flying into. Yeah, I got them. Anyhow, this little shelf here, we had to clean out some bird nests earlier this year and during the process. So, yeah. Going to have to watch out for birds who want to nest. But I'm going to get some spikes, put spikes, netting, a BB gun. No, I don't like to do the BB gun thing anymore. I used to, but not now. All right, what do we have here? Miss Susan says, you could write a book. No, I did try to write a book. Somewhere on a computer, somewhere. I started out, I was born a poor, lonely potato farmer's child in White Sands, New Mexico. And I started listing all the jobs. I just thought, let's put down all the jobs. Anywhere I got an official paycheck from. And then all the other things I've done, right? And all the moves I've made and all the positions I held. And I got bored. I got bored looking at my life. I just fell asleep. I said, "The heck with this." Yep. Yep, that's the place. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Susan. That's my little home away from home. Now that's it right there. And the other picture, there it is right there. Yep. And we have 2 rocking benches that we'll put out there. That we got another little outdoor carpet I'll put here, and this looks out towards the back of the property. And yeah, that's the place. It's a joint. That's it. And you can see it right there. Look, the moon. It's not quite full, but close. And yep. And these lights don't belong here. See how the lights come around to the side here? Well, they plug in up over in the right-hand corner, and these went from here all the way where the fireplace is, and I had to take them down and move them. And yeah, anyway, I've got to reposition those lights. But yeah, we'll get them repositioned, and they'll be just fine. Yeah, put that right there like that. There we go. Keep an idea of what's going on here. People tune in and go, "What is going on? Why am I looking at what do I look at this for?" It's crazy old man. What a coot. Okay, thank you very much. What do we have here? Did you dive? No, I'm a bad Scotty. I've been so preoccupied with this and the people and other projects. But now that this is done, I'm sure in the next couple of days I will dive in. I will. Hey there, how's it going, brother? How are you doing there, Todd? You good? Been a minute. Good to see you. Good to see you out there. How you been doing? Now let me make sure if I got this right, Todd. And I don't want to be a point of contention. I don't want it to be a sore spot. But talk to me about the chewing tobacco thing. If you got a chance. If you want to. You don't have to. Yeah. Susan made it back. Good to see her back too. Good to see. Hey, we've got the family together. Family, tribe, group. What do we call ourselves? I don't know anymore. I don't know. I know that there's a lot of things, a lot of people. Well, it's what it is, right? It is what it is. Where's the link? Well, no one asked for the link, so the link didn't get posted. But I'll tell you what we'll do. We are going to post it now. Yeah. You ask and you receive. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Your sister. Okay, we're done. Yeah, sometimes. Oh, you should say, I'm awesome, cranky, but awesome. Okay, all right. How's the grandpa who just got released from the hospital? Well, Laura, except today he fell, and I got a call to go pick him up, and it was very hard. And I'll be taking medication later. And I'm bringing Todd in. Hey, Todd, good to see you, brother. Uh-huh. Yeah, no, he's doing much better.
There we go.
There you go. But a grandfather, his name is Jerry. Jerry is doing much better. He's able to transfer himself from his wheelchair to his walker, from his walker to his bed, from his bed to the walker, from the walker to his porta potty or whatever, the potty right by the bed. He's able to take care of himself. He feeds himself, takes his medicine and stuff like that. But there's still things to do, places to go. And we're working on a ramp. I'm going to help put a 40 by 40 concrete pad, 40 inch by 40 inch concrete pad down to make his journey down the ramp better. Because when I picked him up and brought him in the house, I had just a bare 2.5 inch lip, pulling a 240-pound man with a 60-pound wheelchair, basically 300 pounds up over that lip, was all that I could do by myself, and nobody else was there to help me. So I am going to go get those. I have 2 bags of Saccrete in the garage. I'm going to go get 6 more, and I'm going to pour a cement foundation pad with a little bit of a angle to it so it meets the lip of the ramp he has. So he's doing well. He's getting stronger, but he's not out of the woods yet. There you go. I'm done. Go ahead. How you doing, brother?
Good. What's going on?
Hey, you've been listening. You know what's going on.
Heck yeah. Does the audio sound okay tonight?
Yeah, your audio sounds great. Well, I thought we got that all fixed the last time.
We we did, and then Chris got an update, and for like a day, my audio sucked. So now I'm just paranoid.
Get it. I get it. Good to see you, brother. Good to see you.
Yeah, it was so funny. I was looking for you. I think it was last night because I was gonna come on. It was pretty funny, but you were working your tail off.
Well, I worked my tail off early in the day, and when I got to the time to do it, you know what I said? I said my energy was so low. How low was it? It was so low. It was like hand solo. It was low. And I said, I'm just not doing it. And I lost myself into YouTube shorts and YouTube and Facebook shorts. And I didn't even have the heart, and I apologize. I didn't even have the heart to put up a placard and sorry, no late night tonight. I'm fried.
Yeah, spent.
Sorry.
I got you. Yeah, no, I was coming on. I was laughing. I was talking to Michael here actually in the chat,
Yeah.
and I was laughing because well, I had a funny realization yesterday because I put off quitting chewing until today, actually.
Okay.
I put it off for 1 week. And so today is my first chewless day. But I was coming on to talk to you last night because you remind me of this. I'm like, Scotty's going to ask me, and I'm going to be like, oh, I put this off a day, or for a week. And the reason why I was just because I was working on the biggest contract that I'd worked on ever,
Right.
And so we were putting that together. And then also I've been doing this priming, and the priming is screwing up my sleep. So I hadn't slept like all week. So I made this decision. I was thinking about it. I'm like, I'm not feeling it right now because I got too many things going. But I was like, once I get past the contract, which I did last week, and I get through the end of the month billing, then I think, and I'm going to sleep in this week. And then next week after Tuesday, after the 25th, on the 26th, I'll be through the end of the month billing. I'm going to do it. But that would usually have bothered the crap out of me
Right.
to have planned on quitting and then postponed it.
Right.
And I was sitting here, I was waiting for this, and this is what I was going to tell you last night too. I was waiting for I told some people I was waiting for the guilt hammer to drop because
Right.
in my past, if I made a plan to start a diet on Monday, and then I was getting close to Monday, and I said, you know what, I'm going to wait a week. You know what I mean? So there was this really weird programming because this is the first time that I've done that where it didn't bother me. It made perfect sense. And so yesterday I was sitting there having to think about it, and I'm like, it's so weird. Because I was sitting here, it was the only thing that was bothering me about it is that it wasn't bothering me. There was this weird itch in the back of my head, like I was waiting for it to fall out of the sky and hit me, and then I was going to get all guilty about it and feel weird. And it just never happened. I was sitting there, and I actually spent time thinking about it yesterday at lunch. I was like, why is this not bothering me this time? And it dawned on me because I'm not an addict anymore. I'm not a sugar addict anymore. And so I can actually trust my own judgment. Like I can trust myself again. It was so crazy to figure that out yesterday. I was like, yeah, I'm not full of shit anymore when it comes to, when it comes to
Okay,
making these, I didn't trust my own intentions back then because I was so full of crap over, pushing it off to the next week and the next week on the diets and stuff. And I was like, holy crap, I can trust my own judgment again.
What you're saying to me is so absolutely fundamentally missed by so many people. In other words, it's like when you're behind the eight ball on anything, I don't care what it is, whether it's work or your health, but all these what we call pat answers or platitudes and nice sayings, are beyond our comprehension. It almost feels like you'll get a job when you have experience, but you can't get experience without a job, right?
Right.
But if you let that mindset rule you, right, then you end up behind the eight ball, as I like to call it, right?
Right.
But once in this way of living, and I'm not going to call it a way of eating, it's a way of living, right? In this way of living, you start to stack up a lot of victories, a lot of confidence. When you defeat your hormones, or let's say that when your hormones no longer drive you to unhealthy choices.
Right.
It's that whole straw breaks the camel back phenomenon. All of a sudden, you were stronger to do a lot of things. And so,
Really? Yeah,
what's
totally.
the buzzword now? You know how these buzzwords are. They're not wrong, but they're overused. Is resilience, right?
Right.
You know, now you have the resilience to sit there and say, I didn't get what I wanted, but what I have is working for me, and I have really good reasons for it. That instinctive living, when you're a weightlifter, you'll do what they call instinctive training. You'll say, I know my schedule today tells me to do A, B, C, X, Y, Z this number of time. But if I'm being honest with myself, I'm not into it, and I could really hurt myself. So you said to yourself, hey, I know that stress may cause me to veer away from my goal. So the
Totally.
stress of the contract, right? Um, the billing, the
Yeah.
all these different things are your triggers. So then, now that you know what your triggers are, you sit and say, "This isn't the right time for me to throw another major metabolic chemical dependency test at myself." You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like,
Exactly.
you'd have to hold up the sign and say, "Here's your sign." You know? Did
Yep.
you ever see the movie Airplane?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, the
The
older
guy
movie,
says
right?
all through the thing. The one guy said, "I picked a bad day to quit drinking coffee. I picked a bad
Right.
day to quit sniffing glue." Right? Right?
Right. Yeah.
And no, you say, "I picked a bad week." I mean, think of it. Think of it, Todd. I mean, you are a planning dude. Are you not a
Right.
planning dude? I mean,
Yeah,
planning
very.
is your middle name. My name
Yep.
is Todd Planning. If you're going to be congruent with who you are, you just say, "Nah, this is not the right week. I got a whole life ahead of me." And how much weight have
Right.
you lost so far? How much weight have you lost so far?
Well, now that I'm doing priming, it's really weird. It was funny. It's the quick answer is like just under 260 pounds, like
Yeah.
258 pounds.
You lose 268 pounds for all things you do, and life is forever long, at least 120 years, right?
Right.
What's a week?
Right.
What's a week?
Yeah, for sure.
Good on.
And that was what was so funny about it, right? Because I was sitting there, and the difference is this time I actually was more concerned about jeopardizing my priming and the things that I had on my plate, like I was doing good with them. And so I didn't want to jeopardize those. And that was actually the angle that I came at it. And then it was just when like, you know what? Because I was out of chew, and I had to call my sister because I was at work. I was like, all right, go ahead. I'm going to do this for one more week. So get 3 more cans of chew. And when I did that, there was like this slight bit of guilt that slipped in. And I was like, oh, this is because I made myself kind of a promise. I didn't sit down and make like this super declaration promise, but in my mind I was like, all right, when these are done, then this is probably the time. It was kind of a little off the cuff, but it was feeling right.
Right.
And then when it got there, circumstances were there. And but this time it made so much more sense because what I was doing, it had nothing to do with coming up with all these nonsense excuses just to get another week of eating bad or whatever. This time was actually built around being successful with what I was already taking on. And then, and I was thinking about all these things. I was like, that feels so good to be able to trust my own motives, you
That's it.
know,
Hey,
you
good.
know.
Hello, Don. I think you got someone of your follow one of your posses in here, buddy.
Oh, really? Who we got here?
Don Schonger.
Oh, hey buddy, how are you? I got a lot of new subscribers today that I'm not yet familiar with because my Sean Baker interview posted this morning.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and in fact, I'll post that in the chat if people want to check it out.
Yeah, do that. Do that by all means. Well, hello and welcome, Don. Welcome to the House of Scotty P with your host, Scotty P. No, hey, yeah, we just have a good time here, Don. We do this live format. We try to do it a couple nights a week. It hasn't been that way this week, but we try to do it. And the idea is this is a format where people can meet, share ideas, share their faith, whatever works for you. We're kind of a safe place without using buzzwords. And I'm just glad you dropped in and we're hearing Todd talk about today. So tell me about this first day with no chew, my friend. Talk to me now.
Wasn't bad actually. Well, I shouldn't say it wasn't bad. I didn't think it was bad, and then I had a grouchy moment with a superintendent on the phone that was uncharacteristic of me. And then I realized, oh, this is the nicotine.
And did you share with that person about, hey, look, I'm stopping something?
I did later through an email, but I was calling him purposely to give him a little bit of a hard time because he was stepping out of line.
Okay.
I went further than I wanted to go because I was amped up and I was like, why did I get, well, why did I get emotional there for a second? And I was like, oh, it was this stupid nicotine because it kind of came out of nowhere, caught me off guard a little bit. And then later I was like, hey, I'm quitting like a 25, 26 year nicotine habit. So
Well,
my bad.
I think anybody who has an ounce of character will salute you and support you in this effort.
I
And
appreciate it.
I believe that when you come to people and you tell them that, but first, hello, Bold. Second, Don, read you loud and clear. Lima Charlie, you be safe, all right? And we're just glad you're here listening.
Yes,
But
sir.
to go back to what you're talking about, let me ask this question then. I think I know the answer, but I'd like to hear it from you. What is your plan going forward to recognize your chemical response to either avoid or notify others? Hey, by the way, I want to let you know up front, I'm stopping a nicotine thing. If I sound a little bit spicy,
Yep.
bear with me. But and we'll just stick to the points here. And you could tell them that by saying and to one to cut yourself off, two to prepare them, but also everybody now knows this is not the time to grow a pair of cojones.
Right.
Well, leave those at home. Right now, we're just sticking to business.
Right. Exactly. And that was after I had the little mess up on the phone today. I was talking to people because I was on the phone with some of our guys and the superintendent over a dispute of stupid things. But yeah, my guy was like, "Boy, you're amped up today." And I went, "Oh." I said, yeah, I quit Copenhagen today, and both of them chew. They were like, oh no.
So
Yeah, so we had that.
you made me think of something, Todd. Let me ask you this question, and I hope I'm not being too loud. Um, the question I have is: are you keeping a journal?
A little bit. I've been starting to. So a few people have said some stuff. You said that once before to me, and then Michael actually in the chat here, he's become a very good friend of ours. He's helping us even on our YouTube channel and stuff. He's a good IT guy. And he was talking to me because we've talked on the phone a few times, and I was telling him some stories about my dad, and he said I need to start writing those down because they're something. And so
Now,
I've been actually doing that a little bit more.
well, here's my thought process. Grab your phone and on your calendar, I'm going to use a name because it's just a name, doesn't matter. Jumped at Chuck today, the supervisor.
Yeah,
Today, and on my phone, I think I've told people this, but my phone and my calendar is my everything, right? So that phone, you see stuff all over it.
yeah,
Some are repeat, like I have on my phone every day. I have an appointment with God to
right,
surrender to Him, and it
right,
goes off, and I see it every day. But I put everything on there, from bowel movements to notes about everything, because I want to be able to go back and find. Like today, 1 year ago today, I left a job. My last time working was 1 year ago, and the reason I left this job was I was so denigrated by the CEO, and I was just tore up. I mean, I was tore up in a way you just don't get tore up, right?
Right.
And I said to myself, self, she wants you to nail Jello to the wall. You can't do that. This is an impossible person to support. And I wasn't working at my level of acumen, if you want to say.
Right.
I'm not trying to be too big, but I was doing a job. I was helping someone make money, and I was doing my part. But this got weird, and I said, you know what? I don't ever need to be denigrated like this. I walked into the HR person, handed in my stuff. Now, being the person I am and the years I have, I had everything ready. When I handed in case they wanted to do one of those, immediately walk me out, everything I had was already out in my vehicle anyway.
Yeah.
I'd already wiped my computers, done all my stuff before I handed in the notice. I didn't chit chat with anybody.
Yep.
And I walked in, I said, you know what? I'm only waiting around because I want to tell this CEO eyeball to eyeball. You know
Yeah.
what? You are the worst thing to happen to this company right now. And
Totally.
I told this to the HR person. He goes, "Oh, that's too bad. That's so sad." I said, "What's that? Did you have a job for me somewhere else on contract? Did I be out of this place?" And you, "Oh, no, no. I handed in my resignation 2 days ago." The head of HR, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, long and short of it is sometimes, you got to do what you got to do. But all in all, it's important, I think, to keep a good list. So when you're done with your Copenhagen thing here in about 2 weeks, right?
Yep.
2 weeks, you're kind of done with it. A month for sure.
Oh yeah.
3 months for absolute sure. You go to Omaha Steaks, right?
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of Omaha Steaks because they're not on my side of the political spectrum as far as the owners are concerned.
Oh yeah.
But you go to somewhere like that, maybe you find Maggie, the farmer, the rancher,
Mm-hmm.
and you order a nice box of steaks for Chuck,
Right.
and you say, you know what, you were day one, and I remember you, you know,
Totally.
and you honor him for
Yeah.
being
Putting
the
up with
whipping
me.
post.
Yeah. Exactly. For sure. No, that's a good idea. I should start. I'm hoping not to, because it hasn't been totally bad. I think it just kind of caught me off guard this morning.
Sure.
But we'll see if it gets worse or not. But no, that's a good idea to kind of keep a accounting of who I need to right some wrongs with for sure.
Well, yeah. If you're going to keep a record, like you said, we
Yeah,
love to keep the records of our highlights. We don't
right,
necessarily want to say when we aren't so good, right?
for sure,
Yeah.
totally,
Well, I salute you, brother. I mean, what you're trying to do again, like your victory over food, like your victory over soda.
totally.
This is another major undertaking.
I can feel that it's time, and it feels good too. Like it just feels good to have my teeth stay cleaner, not have stuff stuck in between them. I've been
Your
that didn't
breath.
matter to me, but it's funny because when I was in a certain place at a certain time, that didn't matter before because I had bigger problems, right? And so the kind of the medicating it was doing for me was a bigger deal than having stuff in my teeth. Now that stuff was really irritating because I
Well,
don't, so it's kind of funny.
and if you want to be close to people, I don't mean to be mean to anybody, but when you dip, everybody smells it,
Yeah, for sure.
right? Like my wife, my beautiful bride, she lets me know, like this week at church, and it still hurts me to the core of my being. But I am a coffee fiend.
Right.
Okay. It's the one thing I allow myself because, as I've said many times before, my daughter bought me a coffee of the month for a whole year.
Mm-hmm.
And I love coffee anyway, so it's a great excuse. But she'll tell me when I wish I wouldn't know. You go to church with your wife, you're going to talk to your wife about, oh, the pastor got you on this. Oh, the pastor. We don't elbow each other anymore, right?
Right.
And the pastor says no. But I'll whisper something. She goes, hey, do you got a mint? You mean like your breath ain't right.
Right.
And sometimes she doesn't mean it that way, but she's just trying to help me,
For
right?
sure.
And I wish I could tell people who chew your breath It didn't work.
Right. I know what you mean for sure.
Yeah. So, well, good on you. You know, so you got the contract done,
Yep.
well, under control.
Yeah, under control. No, in a few weeks, but yep.
All right. Oh, is this a bid for a contract or the actual contract?
It was a value engineering.
What?
It was a value engineering to get to a number to get the job, basically.
Okay, I got you. I got you.
So we got to see if we're there, but it's looking good for sure. So
You know, that is always the hardest thing. Like, I'll give you for instance, and for everybody else who doesn't understand in the stream, you know, we talk about a lot of things here in this late night. We are not just going to talk about carnivore because our lives are so much more than that. Agreed? But
absolutely.
but when you talk about a business and doing things, and I did this pavilion trip thing of mine, right? And I've been eyeballing costs, keeping an eye just to close in the gables on my pavilion. Somebody wanted about what do they want? $2,700, right?
Right.
I got it done for 300, including the free provided for me hardy board shingles, right?
Right.
But I remember when I was in the government making these contracts, and I'd go to these people and say, "Give me your value proposition on this." What do you? And it's hard to say. And we would actually discount a bid that didn't have a proper profit margin in there. We have a
Right.
basic understanding, trust me, of what the profit should be for you. And we want businesses to succeed. We
Right.
don't want businesses to underbid so much that they hurt themselves and they destroy the competition. So we really have and I am not the brain to figure that out. They have a whole science to figuring that out, and but they have people out there who know pretty much down to the market average of what it should cost to pour a yard of concrete, to set up an electrical system, to do plumbing, to do whatever it is you do, because the
Hmm.
government buys everything. They know.
Totally. For
And
sure.
if you don't have, we the government has got away from lowest bid.
Right. Thank
Lowest
God,
bid is a
because
horrible
yeah,
thing. I know
absolutely
that.
it is.
Well, the federal government now, state and local, I don't know,
Yeah.
but
Not so much,
but
but
now we do best value, and it has to be reasonable value, right?
right. You
So,
have to.
so I understand there's a lot. There's a lot that goes into trying to make sure that your company doesn't get hosed.
Oh, for sure. And you know what's so funny is we've done quite a bit of work with like the university and stuff, and there's contractors out there that'll take university work at a loss on purpose because there's a law in the books that says that the government cannot take anything of value for free. It can't take anything for value for free. So as long as you can prove that you lost money or you're not making money, you can open your books. They have to pay you. I think it's 10% overhead and 5% profit. So you get to mark up on your books the government contractors in our state. So they'll literally, a contractor will go up there and literally, if they don't feel that they have anything going at the time, they'll just do what I mean. They'll cut it by half. They'll give them a bid that's half as much, and then it's certified payroll. So they have to open their books. They just have to show that they're losing money, and then the government has to pay them 10% overhead and 5% profit at the end of the day after all their costs are recorded. And so that's a game people play around here where they go, "Oh no, we'll do that for, $50,000 and it's $300,000 that they need." And they'll do that just to get into the job so that they can do the 5 and 10 we call it.
Yeah,
It's pretty funny.
that's and to me now I was never a contracting officer or whatever, but that would be somewhere I would definitely keep a note and say bad actor. You know,
Mhm.
I don't want those people. Now look, I was a weather guy. What is weather really? Come on. But then when I moved over and I was at Missile Defense Agency, missiles mean something.
Right.
Really? I don't want bad actors. And so, did you see where? A former president negotiated for new Air Force Ones. They got to upgrade those fairly regular, right?
Right. I remember Trump was negotiating for him. Yep.
And he got a firm fixed price. He gave them the moon. They've already lost $2 billion on it,
Wow.
right?
Wow.
Because
How
it came.
how'd they do that? Because I thought he gave him a pretty good deal.
Oh, he gave them the moon. Here's the thing: the economy went to what?
Yeah. Yeah. There we go. The inflation
Right?
got him.
And now all of a sudden they said, look, we're making 30-40% profit with the current bid. Take it, take it, take it. And
Right.
then the market tanked 80%, you're 40% under, right? 40%
Right.
overrun, right? So, the long and the short of this whole thing is firm fixed price is not the private industry's best interest.
No, especially not in long term. We fight that all the time. If we're taking on contracts that are over 18 months, we really have to think about it. Because it's really you're sticking your neck out. You don't know what's going. You could be giving up the world uh to stay busy on these contracts 18 months later, or you could really be hurting yourself. There could be like you got to get in there and get out. I don't like contracts that are much over a year, to be honest with you.
Or for me, what I did both as a government guy who oversaw the contracts, not as the ultimate customer end user. All right, when I when I maintained contracts or when I was a contractor and tried to get contracts, I always tried to make sure that there were caveats and things in there that allowed for this change and understanding. Because if we are going to be like Todd, if you and I go into business, I want you to be a long-term relationship. And a
Totally.
long-term relationship to me means that I don't take advantage of you, right?
Right.
So I put in there and I fought for on both sides of the aisle. I fought for having an ability to come to the table for addressing these situations and even when I was in politics, I fought for language in things I had to deal with that said, "Hey, this isn't working for either party. Someone's being disproportionately hurt." Now, the only time I didn't do that, and I'll be honest with you, there's a company called Litton, like Litton iced tea,
Yeah.
but it's called Litton Lasers. Really big in the whole laser business, and they were
Right.
out of Massachusetts. And I bought these laser rangefinders. So, have you ever been out golfing or hunting,
Yep.
right? And you
Yep.
got your little binoculars to get to range.
Yep.
Well, I got a pair that had mil spec, all right, but they were monocular. Even though you had two eyepieces that came down to
Yep.
one prism, they were accurate to within within one or 10 centimeters at 10 kilometers.
Wow.
Pretty
Yeah, that's
accurate
crazy.
stuff, right?
Yeah. Right. And
I can
you're
hold
talking about
this
a
up,
range finder, right?
right? So I can
Yeah.
hold this up, hit the laser, point at a building or a tree. And the reason weather guys wanted it was we could make our visibility marker so we know, airplanes need to know when they're coming in what the visibility is, right?
Right.
And you could actually do them on clouds because after a certain penetration of cloud, you'll get a return that makes it kind of an opaque layer. So we can say the clouds were at a certain layer, right? Well, I got Litton to agree, or I didn't, someone else before me got them to agree on contract for a certain price. They are only $9,999 each, right?
Right.
So we bought a bunch, right? But there was a contract clause that said as long as we bought 5 every year, the contract would go on at that price, and there was a pool of like 150 more I could buy at that price.
Right.
This is 1997. Well, 1998, every year I'd go to the boss. I'd say, hey, boss, it's that time of year. We need to buy 5 more of these laser rangefinders. And I was a project manager. And he goes,
Yeah.
Scotty, we can't buy 5 more of those. Those things cost 10,000. Where am I going to find 50,000? I think, boss, if you don't buy these for $50,000 now, we won't have the opportunity to buy these later. Yeah,
Right.
okay, we'll buy 5 more. Find people who can use them. So we bought them every boom, 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 boom. But there was this little soiree we had in Kosovo. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, in that little soiree, all of a sudden, everything in the whole world was all about Kosovo. Everybody and their mother in the special forces groups wanted these LRFs, laser rangefinders. I went back to the boss. Hey, boss, aren't you kind of glad I kept that contract up? Yes, I am. I said, hey, boss, and the boss said, good, Scotty. I need you to go out and buy me another 100 of these. Okay, boss. 100 at 10,000 a piece. You know, we're talking about
Yeah.
a good amount of money. He said, go buy get them going. I said, yes, sir. Well, I called the people. Well, what had happened in the process is some MBAs out of Harvard had decided and had convinced the owners to move the company from Massachusetts to Florida. Oh, it's a much better tax place. Blah, 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 blah. And they said, okay, go ahead and do it. What they didn't realize was in moving from Massachusetts, they were grandfathered from all the OSHA stuff
Right.
because Litton Laser had been there since like 1960, 1940s. Now they were building a whole new plant in another state. They had to meet all the
New OSHA requirements.
new OSHA. Guess how much my LRFs cost? $30,000. I said, that's nice, but they cost me $9,999.
Yeah.
And I got a contract, and here's the clause, and you will honor that price.
Right.
It's the only time I ever took someone, to the cleaners. Those 2 individuals, they no longer worked for Litton.
Right.
Because they had to do everything. And when you mess with lasers, you got to be right. Anyway, and we had problems with those lasers later because what they did, so the people before me, they put in all these requirements, and they never put out a maximum power rating. So when they put the 3 little lithium batteries in there,
Yeah.
the power was about 4 times what is recommended. And some genius who became an officer, I'm sure, wanted to see the laser. So he took the LRFs and he put it out and he shot it at his chest.
Yeah.
Of course, you didn't see the laser.
Right.
But the laser found his button on his uniform. It bounced up into his eye.
Oh my gosh.
He lost that eye.
That's crazy.
Because we found out on center with if you were wearing like binoculars or any light gathering device,
Yeah.
this laser would take your vision at 20 kilometers.
Wow. That's crazy.
And so anyway, I learned a lot about that. I learned a lot about OSHA at that point in time. But about contracts. Anyway, we got way into the weeds.
Lindy.
I apologize, everybody. Yeah, thank you, Ellen, for telling everybody, hit the like button, man. Smash the like. Smash the like button. Limitless Lindy says hi to you, Todd. I know you guys have a great show going on. Early morning to you, Susan. Take care. God bless.
See you, Susan.
I'm so glad you are safe and that you got a car. Your family is safe and all is well by you. Take care. God bless. Good night. Hello. We must have another one of Todd's friends in here. Amandi's Secret Garden. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce Amandi. Jumanji. Amandi. Okay, I'm done.
Hey, Mandy, how are you? Let's see here.
All right, so we're doing a little bit of wow. What are we wowing for, Mandy? A secret garden now. Wait a minute now. A secret garden has a lot of connotations there. All good, mind you. How are you? Mandy, where you coming in from? All right, doing good. Love the laser story. Yes, a laser. I did think about getting some laser certifications because of my job. I could have kept myself very well employed with laser certifications. You'd be amazed at how simple it is to get certified as a laser safety person. Do it, Todd. Do it. Do it. There's nobody
You
in
know,
Wyoming doing laser safety.
well, Montana, but yeah, actually, it's very.
Montana, same diff.
It's yeah, it is same. There is actually it is weird because these laser manufacturers blew up around here for some reason, and I've talked to a couple of them. One of them wanted us. They bought a building and they build lasers, and they wanted us to fix their service on their building, but um, they said I think it's our altitude. I think our altitude is good for making lasers. I think is what they told me because
For, for sure, for
we're like
testing them.
yeah, we're at like 6,000 feet in elevation, and so something about the temperature and the altitude here, the laser companies like. So it was weird when you said that because I don't know. There's like three pretty major laser companies in our town that build lasers for special projects.
Hey there, Kip. I gotta be honest with you. I know about that a little bit because when I was at Kirtland Air Force Base, I was heavily involved in a lot of things laser. And the thing that was really big there was because of thermal turbulence. FYI, thermal. Are you familiar with the idea of thermal turbulence?
I'm not. No.
So, have you ever looked at a road that's really hot and seen the shimmering off the road?
Yeah.
That's thermal turbulence. So
Oh, okay.
when you are looking through the atmosphere, if you're looking horizontal to a certain distance, until you get the curvature of the Earth, you're kind of in a homogeneous level, right? But have you ever, Todd? Have you done many flights in your life?
4 or 5. Yeah.
Okay, so when you fly over mountains, you have turbulence, right? Particularly going
Right.
in and out of Montana, over the Rockies. That's orographic. That's mechanical turbulence.
Yep.
All right. But when you fly over Texas, when you fly over New Mexico, the hot places, you get a lot of air that lifts differently because of temperature, and it
Hmm.
only goes to a certain height. Well, that's turbulence also. So when you want to fire a laser for effect through all that, you have to account for the different densities of the atmosphere. And so that turbulence, that's what turbulence is, a change in properties over distance, right?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
So if I have a change in temperature because of a cold front, hot, warm front, whatever the reasons are, a
Yeah.
phone wind, you get a lot of phone winds in Montana, right?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, you, so the
Yeah, because
idea being turbulence, and you can actually have thermal turbulence. Let me get a couple of shout outs real quick.
yeah.
First and foremost, hello, Kip. Good to see you, brother. Glad to see you on
Hey,
here.
Kip.
Minimalist, hello, quick hello. You've been in, but now I have to run. All right, church night. Yeah, I got that connection. Hello, 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 hello. I'm glad you came in. All right, let's catch up. Everybody saying hello, Amanda. Hey, by the way, Amanda, welcome from Central California. That's a big state. It's a really long state. Central California could be so much, but thank you for being here. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Um, Carnivore Nana. I've been to Kirtland. Yes, my two sons were born at Kirtland Air Force Base, and I was born at White Sands, New Mexico. I'm a nuclear baby. Maybe that's why I don't have hair. And I'm a lot taller than everybody in my family and a little weird. So I was born at the Trinity site. Yes. Well, not at the Trinity site, but it doesn't really matter. Did you know? Did you know that the people who carried the nuclear material for the first nuclear bombs, they could feel the physical heat emanating from that material?
I'm guessing they didn't make it then.
None of them did.
Yeah.
Teeth,
Yeah.
hair, eyes, everything fell off. Okay, just off topic. Okay. And my sister ended up being a nuclear engineer. What else we got here? We have, everybody's saying hi to everybody. Nana, they said, they took the laser room. Yes, 1984 was a very good year. That's when I came in the military. Hello, at Lindy. Okay, Amanda knows a Lindy. That's great. Amandi, great, 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 great. Okay, we are all caught up. I just like to make sure that we stay up. Kip, welcome. Kip, I am so glad to hear you are working on doing what you need to do. I think that's awesome. I think, you took off a week, you put on a bunch of pounds, you lose a bunch of pounds.
For sure.
Chernobyl, I did, and I could tell you some stuff about Chernobyl from the military side and the weather side that you probably didn't get from anything, but we'll do that another time. Oh, AFROTC, that's sweet, 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 sweet. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Chernobyl. Yeah, I went over to Europe after that, and well, anyway, we'll talk about that another time. Nothing that I would go to jail for. Eyes fell out. I'm a good. No, their eyes didn't fall out. Thank you very much, and you are a good listener. I'll have to be careful. Oh yeah, thank you so much. By the way, Michael, I figure everybody knows where I'm at if they're here, right? Chernobyl. What they didn't tell you because I had the weather atmospheric charts. Chernobyl, the upper atmosphere pattern was a little bit more different than what they publicized. And I actually met a gentleman who was part of an experiment. They found out that people who lived in those Nordic countries, when they did autopsies after they passed away from whatever reasons, they found high levels of radiation in some people and they didn't find it in other people. And they couldn't understand. Now, tell me why can we not see a consistent pattern in these people?
Right.
Well, here's what they learned. Do you want to know?
Absolutely.
Okay. Here's what they know. Some people use the sauna a lot.
Ah.
And so they said to ourselves, Sal, what do we do? So they got some volunteers and they injected them with heavy salts, right? Not heavy metal, heavy salt.
Right.
And then they put these people in Glad bags and put them in a sauna. And they analyzed their sweat and they found out that the body does sweat out heavy salts and heavy metals.
Oh, wow.
And I met one of the actual participants in the sauna. Now, you want to hear what's really weird? So me and this guy, we do the sauna thing, and we're in Europe. I don't know if you've ever been to Europe, ever heard about Europeans. They got no problem with clothes. Like, you don't need them. They're optional.
Oh,
So you're in the sauna. Okay. And you can have the women
Yeah.
folk in there, the men folk. Look, it's so hot. All you're trying to do is survive. Trust me. All right?
Right.
So I'm in the sauna with this guy. I see him all the time. I speak a little German. I spent 12 years there. Ich kann ein bisschen Deutsch sprechen, that type of thing, right?
Yeah.
And we're back and forth. I don't think nothing about this guy. He's a little fella. Well, to me, he's a little fella, right? He's normal, but he's a little fella.
Right.
Months and years go by. A good buddy in my unit is living with a German girl. We go by his house. We go by their house to pick him up. He's in their house. I blew my mind. He spent the night in her house, and it was her parents' apartment. He came out. We're all in our BDUs, our uniform, right? Yeah. Hey, Matt, we need to go to work. And he comes out drinking a cup of coffee in a robe in their house. Do you know how freaked out I was?
Weird.
Okay. Anyway, he's still married to that girl, right? Woman. Her father was the man I sat in the sauna with. Small world.
For sure.
Anyway, okay, let's catch up. Hey, medical. We have medical herbalism 47. Ladies and gentlemen.
That is Mario. Hey, Mario, how are you?
What up, Mario? Good to see you.
He's,
we got you, 16 pound, 3 days. I knew it. When I saw you said you had 35 pounds in that brief period, I said, it's fluid, man. I know people in the carnivore world want to say inflammation, and it irks me. It irks me to a point in my heart that I cannot say. I believe inflammation is a chemical biologic response that is not independent of fluid, but coincidental to fluid. When you shed the fluid, the inflammation is reduced, but I don't believe they're synonymous.
Well, I always thought that when you eat carbohydrates and you burn glucose as fuel, the byproduct or the exhaust is basically lactic acid. And then carbohydrates, if I'm not mistaken, every one molecule of glucose is bonded with like 6 molecules of water. And
It's a
so
two
he
for
base
one. It's a 2 for 1.
is it a 2 for 1? I thought it was
Two
like
for one.
1 and 6. Maybe I'm thinking of oxygen then, because I know that it's like 1 and 6 and one. I think it's oxygen, so it must be a 2 for 1 with water.
Yeah.
But anyhow, so I thought when you eat the carbohydrates, you burn the glucose, you end up with the extra water, and that water, you also end up with the extra lactic acid in your system, which causes inflammation. So I thought that those two things, that just makes sense because the lactic acid is going to come with the byproduct of burning, uh, glucose, and then the water is going to come from also burning glucose. So they are related, but not tied together, like you said.
Yeah, and it's understandable to bring that together, and I'm not nitpicking, but I'm like, the first thing is, Kip, you know what you know, and you're doing what you need to do, and whether you want to call it carnivore, carnivore-ish, whatever, just stop hurting yourself, right? I know your shoulder is hurting like nobody's business. I know that all those things are bad. I think you may have some arthritic type condition going in your shoulder. So when you get the additional inflammation going in, the moisture, it aggravates that. I know that they have these, and hey, herbalists, help me out here, okay? But your bone mass has these cells, blasts, and something blasts. I'm sorry, I don't remember the exact name. One of them adds to your bone capacity, your bone, and one takes away to get the calcium and whatever it needs. They work in harmony. And I would say, Kip, that in your inflamed status, because of whether it's carbohydrates, whatever, your body started to rob your bones for things, and that when you stay healthy for an extended period of time, I do believe that bone remodeling happens. It just isn't as fast as we would like it. Your shoulder will continue to get better. Now, tears I don't know about, and I do know about the body on um, damage to tissue is when it rebuilds back, it builds back with collagen, kind of like a recluse spider's nest. It's not organized. So what happens, you may have fibers that used to lay like this, but then if you tore them, they may come back like this. And physical manipulation will move those fibers back into alignment,
Mm.
but it's painful. That's when they do the deep massage and stuff like that. Your body
Yeah,
will
what are they?
respond to that.
Yeah,
But
they
I know I
call
had that
call that
happen
like
with him.
trimming. Yeah,
Sorry,
I was
Brad?
just reading. Oh, I think they call that trimming. I was just reading what Mario was saying in the chat because Mario's funny. This dude's about to just go in on. This dude's super passionate. So I was just looking a little bit to see what he was telling Kip because I'm right now. I'm working with Mario. He's a really nice guy. He's in Greece and he reached out to me through the chat, the comments in my YouTube video. And since then, I've talked to him several times on Discord, and he's kind of got me on this program. I got to get with him tomorrow, but I was just seeing he basically he uses carnivore and stuff in conjunction with his herbalism, if that's a word. But it's kind of interesting. So he he believes that it's very much so a gut microbiome issue and a gall plugged bile ducts in your gallbladder and also a fungus. And so it's funny. I got to talk to him tomorrow, but he sent me this video called he got my attention because he messaged me and he goes, I need to help you. He said, you have the fat virus. I was laughing so hard because I'm like, well, man, you might have me dead right there because if there's such a thing as a fat virus, I probably got it. So let's talk it out. But he sent me this video and it was pretty interesting. They found this, I think it was in India. They found this virus that when they put it in chickens and monkeys, I think it was called like N36 or something, that these chickens and monkeys were getting fat and it was spreading this fungal virus. And so they started testing obese people, and they're finding like antigens and antibodies in these obese people. Like 30% of them had this N36 antigens in them. And like when they tested skinnier people or thinner people, only like 5% of them had the antigens in them. So it was really interesting thing. So yeah, I'm kind of working with him, and he's about to put me on a supplement regimen to try to unplug my gallbladder and pass some gallstones he thinks I have, and kind of get on the supplement. Not to get off topic, but I just thought that was kind of interesting.
All right. Well, hello, Lisa. And you know what? I'm going to tell you what. Um, the whole idea of some type of virus is not not out on left field. From what I understand from listening to some people who are big in the gut biome space,
Yeah.
your gut biome is there as a response of what is available.
Hmm.
So, like, if you leave something in your refrigerator too long, I don't care what it is, if you leave something for too long, you'll get a growth on it that is attracted to and thrives in that environment.
Right.
Like if you leave pasta, you'll get this red virus, this red growth on it. If you leave all eat no cheese, you get different growth, right? So what I heard, and I want to say it may have been our sprinting doctor, Dr. Sean O'Mara. But if you fill your gut and your body with a certain substrate, then the natural inclination for nature is to respond to whatever that substrate is. So when they talk about the gut biome and gut biome diversity in the gut of a carnivore versus a vegan versus a SAD, yes, they are different, but it isn't that those differences are negative. So um, there still is a diverse culture within the carnivore's gut, and part of our challenge is when we translate from one state to another, that period of change is tumultuous on our body. So our body has a lot of epigenetic capability to upregulate and downregulate, whether you're eating primarily sugars or fats or proteins, and lots of other hundreds of thousands, I'm sure, of cascading events.
Right.
So to say it's a fat virus might be a moniker that covers a series of things that happen. But to be sure, if my gut responds, now this is a Scottyism, so let's just remember that. If my gut is responding to a high vegetable matter diet, then I may see a certain set of consequences, let's say downstream.
Yeah.
When I go to another one, I have another set. I think that the set of consequences from a primarily carnivore one brings us back into a more natural balance, but it doesn't make us immune. But for sure, seed oil consequences,
Hmm.
processed sugar consequences, high fructose corn syrup consequences, throw in some nicotine, throw in some alcohol, and of all things, stress.
Yeah.
And you may have an attractant to something that is so bizarre that
Right.
it defies understanding by modern medicine. When
Right.
you remove them, look at what happened with Michaela. I don't know if I got her name, Peterson,
Oh, yeah, Michaela. Yep.
right? Michaela, or any of us. For
Yep.
me, I wasn't so far gone in most ways. So is the delta bigger for me or not? Right? The gradient change. For
Right.
you, the gradient change is immense.
Right. Right. And for sure. And some of the stuff. So he touched on a few things that's why I was like, all right, this guy's got some definite points, and he's definitely passionate and has a lot of information. But when I was talking to him, uh, he did touch on that I don't have good digestion, and when I've been going through this priming phase, one of the reasons that I'm having a hard time eating 3 times a day is because when I eat food, and I didn't really realize this because I've been eating OMAD so long. When I eat food, it takes like 9 hours for it to leave my stomach. Like 9 hours later, I'm still digesting that same food, it seems like. Sometimes maybe only 8, but it takes between like 8 and 9 hours for that food to get out of my stomach. And later after like 8 or so hours, I start burping and stuff because not a bunch, but a little burp here or there, which is unusual being carnivore because like all the gas and bloating and stuff has gone away. But when I'm eating all these eggs and stuff, they don't digest very easily, and so it's been a problem. And so when he touched on that, because I didn't really tell him that, but he was taking other symptoms, and he goes, "I think you have really bad digestion." And basically, I think what he's saying is that when you live on like a low fat diet or a lower fat diet and all the highly processed chemically crappy foods during the sad diet phase that I was on, just eating junk. He said your gallbladder, I think it's your gallbladder because whatever, I think it's your gallbladder because he said your bile ducts. So I think he said that gets plugged up with gallstones basically. And then you end up with not as much gallbladder bile in your gut. And then he said these funguses end up living in your gut that thrive off of the new environment there, right? And so he said what they need to live on is food that is fermenting. And so yeah, you end up with bad gut digestion because they kind of build an environment down there that keeps the food from being processed too quickly because they need it to ferment to eat this food. And so, anyhow, that's kind of his point to it. But I get what you're saying. Like, I've thought that too. I'm like, man, there's so many ways to change the gut microbiome because there's so many different things you could put down there to culture it. Where he's, I think, coming at it from the standpoint that no, the things you put in it shouldn't have near as much to do with it because your stomach acid should be at a high enough level that it can really plow through it and kill a bunch of those enzymes and things off, or they shouldn't be able to live through the stomach acid. I
So,
think
so let's maybe simplify it a little bit from my understanding. And this is just my understanding. I'm not a medical professional, but okay, whatever goes in and gets through your intestinal tract will set up a biome. Now, whether that biome is any good for you or not, that's subject to debate. Your body is built to handle a broad spectrum of fuel sources and nutrients. So we should look at. I believe we should look at what we put in our pie hole
right.
as either a fuel source or nutrient source. Hello, Arlene. Good to see you. And oh, by the way, everybody, just in case you don't know, and I do apologize, if you come in from my web, my instance of on the YouTube, you won't see people come in on Todd's. But if you open them both up at the same time in 2 different windows, so open up Todd's and open up mine, you'll see all the comments. Okay, so when we have bile comes from the liver. That's why people can live without a gallbladder.
Right.
The gallbladder is where concentrated biliary salts are stored for when they're needed. All right. So that
Right.
little extra, it's kind of like having nitrous oxide on your car. All right.
Right.
When you eat, your food goes in your stomach, you chew, the gastric acids do what they do. Things get a different enzymatic things going on. If you're eating, depending on what you're eating, whether it's a protein or fat, amylase, all those different things.
Yeah.
It goes out of the stomach and empties into the duodenum, where a lot of very important early on nutrients are absorbed in the duodenum. Now,
Right.
before we go any further, the acid level in your stomach is critically important for shutting off the pyloric valve to your esophagus. If the acid content in your stomach isn't very strong, and it's a relative term, okay, not an absolute term. If that is low, that pyloric valve won't close and you end up with acid reflux.
Right.
So when you take lots of sodium bicarbonates and all these different things for acid reflux, like Tums, in the long run, you're hurting yourself. You weaken the acid. So now you're going from acid reflux to GERD to Barrett's esophagus because you'll get so much acid up into your esophagus, almost up to your lungs where you'll aspirate. Then you start growing stomach lining, which is Barrett's esophagus, which will then potentially, with a 40% chance, lead to some type of cancer.
Right.
What you need to understand is most acid reflux or most heartburn and most of the ulcers are started. They only knew this from 25 years ago from a bacteria called H. pylori. So that's why they can treat ulcers with an antibacterial, right? So now let's go back on forward. We got to understand the digestion. So now all your food has been emulsified and grumbled up and dumped. Goes into the duodenum, your body pulling out all it can from there. And then it goes into your small intestines. At this time, the food you ate is no longer called food, it's called chyme. Chyme, it's all liquid. Moves all the way through your small intestines, goes all over, lots of things, and your villi are hanging down in it, right? And the villi are sifting through everything, pulling out what they can, right? After it gets through all your small intestines, it gets dumped into the beginning part of your large intestines, where, by the way, you have your vestigial remaining part of your appendix, right? Which is actually a larger part of the large colon, and in other animals, that is much larger and much more involved for fermentation of your food. Then all that chyme starts moving up the ascending colon, goes across the transverse colon, and then down the descending colon, and then eventually makes its exit. In the large intestines, what's happening is all the moisture is being drawn off, right?
Right.
That's where your bile salts get drawn off and get sent back up in a concentrated form to your gallbladder,
I
right?
gotcha.
Okay. Now, my gallbladder has shrunk by 30% in the last 2 years because my gallbladder is constantly being utilized because I chow down on butter.
Right.
And I chow down on fatty foods, right?
Right.
My system, now that's all gotten better on me. I think it's just real important to understand the things and enzymes and bile and what goes on in your intestine. And then you throw in the gut biome. And now a lot of food we eat, and particularly in a SAD or in a normal diet, let's not go SAD, so a regular diet that's not monetized into only being meat, right? A lot of the critters in our biome, they eat stuff and they off-put nutrients that our body absorbs. We have a very symbiotic relationship with our gut biome. Our body is capable of adapting to a lot of different biomes. So when we talk about these things, we have to understand, like, most of your medication you take for mental things, for anxiety and those things, they are actually impacting the gut biome. That's why you get sick when you take a lot of them.
Yeah. Well, and I think my chew was too. Like that's one of my
Oh yeah.
bigger things about the chew, you know?
And then when you change to a carnivore, but you kept the chew, you kept confounding factors. You know what confounding factors do. So be aware, Todd, over the next week or two, the biome you have now is going to be changed because you're not doing the chew anymore.
Looking forward to it. And what I noticed was I started really tapering off going into yesterday because I knew that yesterday was my last day, and I got quite the appetite out of it, which originally would have worried me when I was carb addict, because an appetite, bad thing then. But right now, when I'm doing priming, this has been quite the good side effect for it. So I'm kind of looking forward to it.
Well, again, we have to remember first of all, you're doing a lot of big things. You're moving a lot of big rocks right now. So we would like to say in our community here, make sure you show some grace.
Oh yeah,
And I do believe the power of prayer will help you here.
oh absolutely. I can tell
Well,
you,
thank
I've
God.
said it. I've said it many times. I give carnivore too much credit most of the time because this all started with me on my knees looking for a miracle, and that's where it started. So I know what made the biggest difference here for sure.
Well, and I do believe, and as you all know, I'm a big believer, and I'm a faithful reader of the Scripture, and I do believe that when we utilize the power of prayer and we utilize our minds, we are definitely making a big impact on our physical well-being. Hey, Carney Vlog, how are you? Hello, hello.
Hey,
Uh,
Carney Vlog, I sent you a comment today. Michael actually introduced me to your channel, and you got an awesome channel, man. Definitely following you now.
Yep, but good. I'm glad you had. I love the beard. That's your current beard, man. I'm gelling. I can get a big beard. I can get this part pretty big. This part comes in kind of scruffy, but here I trim this down just because it drags on my wife's head, and she's not happy about that when I hug her, and she gets the Brillo pad over the top of her head. So that's one thing. I have noticed that my beard is growing so much thicker. I think
Trying to
my
remember.
I think my face got smaller.
Yeah, it looks smaller, and I noticed that when I came back in here. But I'll tell you what, the eggs right now are making my hair grow out of control. Like
Stop it. Stop it. I'm
like
jealous.
super. Well, no, not that hair, right? Okay, so you got nothing to be jealous of here. What I'm saying is the hair that I do have is thicker, it's darker, and my facial hair, all of a sudden it's like I'm shaving barbed wire or something off my face. It just gotten so dang thick since I've been eating the eggs. It's ridiculous.
Well, I think that what they say, everything you need you can get in an egg, right?
For sure.
But the other thing I think is now I'll defer to Lindy and other people here, but here's my thought process because this you've heard me talk about this young man I'm trying to help and his grandfather, right? He's lost about 40 pounds now. And
That's awesome.
he's been wanting to grow his beard. He's growing a beard, and he says, "Mr. Scotty, how do I grow a thicker beard?" I said, "Get a smaller face." And he
Right.
looked at me and I said, "Here's what happens: is imagine you blowing up a balloon. Okay, so we'll all blow up a balloon together, and we blow up the balloon, right? Your face has only so many follicles on it.
Right.
Now put a bunch of dots on the balloon. Now let the air out of the balloon, and the dots get closer."
Right.
My beard has gotten thicker, and unfortunately, so has the rug on my shoulders and everywhere else
Right.
has gotten thicker because there's less distance between each follicle because I'm not so swollen.
Totally. Totally.
So I think I tell people this like ladies, I apologize. I try hard not to be a chauvinist pig, but it is my strong suit.
For
But
sure.
if you think, if you think, if you get smaller, your legs will get smaller. If you're
Right.
shaving your legs, you're gonna think, "Oh, I'm getting denser hair." No, you're just less of you, so it's now a smaller area with the same number of follicles. Does that make
Makes
sense?
sense.
Okay.
Totally.
I'm gonna catch up on some of these here things. Hello, Maribel. Good to see you. I think you're here. That's going to make me want to eat more eggs. Yeah, eat the eggs as long as you go. I will tell you this: when I ate a lot of eggs, but I hadn't been a carnivore for a while, I would get skin lesions of like these little tiny little. I want to call them pimples, but they'd be like an allergy reaction. But now that I've been carnivore for about 100 days plus, I eat them eggs like this. It's my job. Okay.
You know what I had to do now to get to get the 36 eggs down. I'm at a point where if I have one more floppy white egg hit my tongue, I'm gonna puke. So I read that they said that the majority of the DHEA is actually in the yolk and not the white, which is the hormone that I'm looking to get out of the eggs for bringing up my testosterone, because DHEA is a byproduct of testosterone. So, uh, so anyhow, instead of doing 36 eggs a day, now I'm doing 45 egg yolks and I'm just drinking them.
Oh, I can drink egg yolks till the cows come home.
Yeah, super easy, right? So I'm just gonna so instead of doing 12 full eggs and egg whites, I'm doing 15, per meal. I'm doing 15 egg yolks, and it's a lot easier.
Now, I have found that if I do that, I can really crush those. But if I can put the egg, I like what I'll do. I'll put the egg white in a pan with some butter,
Yeah,
and I'll fry it up like a fried egg. And I'll put one egg in it, like with a yolk.
yeah,
So I have this huge egg white
right.
with one egg, and I can eat that. I don't know what it is, but hey, Maribel, a 10K this weekend. You ran a 10K. I won't drive 10K, so congratulations to you.
That's amazing.
That is absolute. Well, I don't know about elbow bumps, but all right, I guess better than fist bump. Lindy says I've been losing so much hair due to quick weight loss, but prior to weekend and it slowed right down. Hey, there you go.
That's awesome, Lindy, for sure.
Yeah, I got to buy a hat like Todd. I got you. I got you. Okay. Yep. Everybody's.
Yeah, same with me too, Steve.
Well, no, we're glad you're here, Carney, and I would love to know more about you, Carney, and where you're from and what you're doing. I
He's
appreciate it.
got a
And
great
Dawn, I think.
he's got a great story, very genuine person. So
Well, I look forward to learning more about it. Dawn, thanks for coming in. I know I shouted you out a minute ago, but thank you for coming in. That's like raw oysters. Oh, well,
well,
okay.
and I gotta tell you this, what I did tonight with it. I took a brisket. First of all, if you've never had brisket in the crock pot, it's pretty amazing stuff. But I made a crock pot brisket and I made brown gravy with it. But then I put tonight I put the egg yolks in the brown gravy and made like a brown gravy yolky gravy, and it was delicious on that brisket, man.
There's a lot of people that do that, you know. I think the hardest part for me is separating them out. And I got to get that little white clingy thing, the
Yeah,
white mass. I got to
yeah.
get that out of things.
Of the
But
yolk, out of the yolk. Yeah,
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 it
exactly.
clings to it.
Yeah, it clings to it, and that's what I have the hardest time with. I never knew that until just recently when I've been separating them, because I do it
Yeah.
in my hand, and then you can reach between your fingers and grab that weird little clingy thing that's stuck to the yolk.
Well, that's actually the beginning of everything. But anyway, the point is
Yeah,
most people have an allergic reaction to what's in the egg white.
right.
That's a given. But you can find ways around that. And a lot of times you want to make sure you denature it through the use of heat.
Hmm.
That's what causes the coagulation of the protein in the egg white is actually necessary, so you won't have a stronger reaction to that protein. But yeah, I tell you what, I crack some eggs, put them in a glass. I got a little shaker cup, and sometimes I put like a teaspoon of honey in there and a little bit of pumpkin spice, and it's
Yeah.
eggnog and heavy cream. And that's
Oh, yeah.
eggnog, baby.
That's true. Yeah, that is
I
true.
drink
Because
that till the cows come home.
yep, I bet that wouldn't be too bad. I used to like eggnog back in the day.
Yeah. So, hey, no problem. Hey, Connie Vlog, you can put if you have and for anybody, if you have a channel, feel free to paste the link right there in. I thank you, Michael. You did that just now. There is no faux pas in self promotion here. I do own a cowgirl hat. My family are cattlemen matching hat, but mine's white. Well, that won't stay white out in the real world very long. pasture gluten free. There you go. Makes sense. We know that with pigs, that the pigs can be very, very problematic on pork because of all the soy they feed them. Hello, Sandra. Good morning.
Howdy,
Hello,
Sandra.
hello. Arlene says I subbed the channel too. Okay, good. Let's grow
Awesome.
everybody. A rising tide lifts all boats,
Chips.
right? Let's go here, Mike. The herbal says gluten is inflammatory. Yep. But it's amazing. Now, here's what's amazing to me. Gluten wasn't a problem 30 years ago.
Right.
So I think, and this is just me, I could be wrong, and I've been wrong before, I'll be wrong again. When we get to a point where our bodies aren't so inflammatory and so diseased, we won't have a problem with gluten.
I believe there's a lot of things like that, man. I don't want to freak out the carnivore community, but I'm not one of those people that doesn't think that there's no good carbs. I think I just don't know which ones I just don't know which ones they are for me right now, so I'm staying away from all of them. You
Right?
know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I do
Yeah.
know. And Dawn, you're absolutely right. And Dawn, I think they're Dr. Bright, Bright, Dr. Bright, I think. I think Dr. Bright, she is a huge advocate for upping your fat. And I think, isn't the lady that you follow in the steak and butter gal, huge proponent for upping your fat? And I also believe that Michaela Peterson would tell you, Dawn, if you can get proper fats into your daughter, that's such an important backbone for more than half of your hormones.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
The GMO wheat. Well, I tell you what, wheat, GMO wheat. I've actually been through some things. I think that GMO has been vilified to a certain point. I'm not saying I'm all GMO at all, but I'm not all against GMO. As I heard a farmer tell me about a month and a half ago, if you ended all GMO now, hundreds of millions of people would die in a few in months. Without GMO, you don't have the agriculture base we have now to feed 6 billion people.
I gotta call a timeout.
Go ahead.
I'll be right back.
Okay,
I have to,
you do.
yeah.
All right, no worries, no worries. I can carry on. So, I do know it works to contact dermatitis. Yep, food sensitivity. I agree. Absolutely, absolutely. I've been upping my fat also. Yep. I tell you, I think this whole fat fear, fear mongering on fat has caused more suffering than we will ever be able to count. Just this weekend, I'm told a person who I know, a family member, tore the skin off her arm on two statin drugs and eats no fat. 49 years old. I think that there's been a horrible perpetration of misinformation. Well, I don't want to blame anybody political, but I don't disagree with you. All right, if you, yeah, I really won't call it if you're able to. Right, I get you. I get you. All right. A man, my hair falls out every time he has a new game. Maybe you're pulling it out. I've had a real time to get her to eat fat. She has speech apraxia. Yeah, that makes her mouth feel. Yeah, it is. So the question is, Dawn, I know you do this, but finding like I'm gonna use words like I'm gonna say things like deviled eggs. Those are normally very popular foods, but finding ways to get fat. Like I said, I'm huge into cocoa butter. I drink it. I eat it. I love cocoa butter. I think it's good for us. I'm not a doctor. Sandra, my hair come off a handful. Well, I lost a lot. Yep. I tell you, our dietary practices. I think our hair is a lagging indicator, not a leading indicator of our diet. Poor diet, poor hair. Poor diet, poor nails. Poor diet, poor eyesight. Poor diet, poor teeth, right? And mouth conditions. Leaky gut, yes. I think leaky gut is a huge issue that's highly, and I got a good friend of mine right now getting treated for some issue in the gut. We'll talk more about it. The cancer he has, and he can actually get opened up, and they're going to pour hot chemotherapy medication into his body cavity, and they're going to leave it there 108 degrees. They're going to leave it for an hour or two. They're going to rub it all around inside his peritoneum, that's below the diaphragm and above. No audio there, buddy. And then they're going to rinse him out, and hopefully that'll help him. It's going to be horrible for him. They're going to burn his guts out chemically, but they say it's the best thing for him. Like at Easter when he said he didn't know if he'd be the only one laying eggs. Don Merch. Thanks, Lindy. Okay. Butter intake. Yep, butter is a great way to go with it. All right, let's go. I always feel like I'm having too much fat, but when I hear others, well, here's Lisa, and anybody else can chime in. You'll know when you have too much fat when you run like the Christmas goose to the John. If you start having, remember those commercials for, what was that medication for losing weight? Alia, where if you took it, it would help block your absorption of fat. I can't hear you at all, Todd. You have no audio. But when you took Alia, it said you could have explosive diarrhea. If you have too much fat and your body can't absorb it, it's just over. You will know it. I'm not one to be crude, generally speaking. But don't pass gas. Don't trust that. All right. Don't trust it because you'll be cleaning. So, yeah, you can eat a lot more fat than you think. Sandra John, they say hair is not so important, so your body part of heal. That's right. Hair comes last. That's almost like with diabetes. Your body will gladly give up your toes. Nope, nothing. Your tango uniform, you are not working, buddy. There's no audio for you. You are.
Oh, there we go. I'm back.
There you go.
Thanks.
That's right.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Alestra chips.
Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Todd. I got you. You're good.
1 second.
All right. Enzymes and bitters, that'll help sometimes. Yep.
Can you still hear me?
Yes, I can still hear you. Can you hear me?
I can't hear Scott all of a sudden.
You can't hear me? Can anybody else hear me? Come on.
I'm going to reboot.
Reboot. I'll be here. Yeah, Alestra chips. Oh, yeah, you'll know it. Okay, Dawn, Aaliyah was disastrous, but they still sell it. I can't believe it. You can still go to the store and get it. At least I'm saying I'm having trouble getting enough fat. Oh, restrict the lion diet. Yeah. Arlene can hear both of us, buddy. Laura hears both of us. Of course, everybody hears me. I'm too loud, Dawn. Yeah, Scott, I can hear you. I know. Everybody's hearing me. My neighbors hear me. My dogs hear me. The insulation hears me. I'm just being bad. The insulation hears me. I'm just being bad. I'm hearing feedback. You got me too loud, buddy. You got your audio going.
Okay, there we go. Sorry, I got it now, if that works.
Okay. Lindy says, I'm still scared to eat fat, but made conscious to prime and maintain my weight. Yes. It does taste bad sometimes. I tell you what, it does. If you're not used to it, and it depends on what you eat. Like, I've even got my wife now eating butter off the stick. Like, she'll just boom and eat. I can hear the other guy too. The other guy is Todd, by the way, Dawn. Ladies and gentlemen, Todd, everybody. Okay. But Todd has lost 200 plus pounds doing this way of life. It's not his first time losing these same 200 pounds. He didn't lose it all the way the first time.
I wonder if I can get this up here. I should show you this picture that kind of amazed me because in this picture, I am in this picture I'm lighter than I am right now. But this showed me what the composition change for carnivore really does, you know? Let me see if I can find it real quick.
Yeah, Todd. I mean, while you're looking for that, yeah, Todd has lost a lot of weight. But the important part about this is the way Todd is losing the excess adipose tissue now is a long-term solution for a lifetime problem that is definitely maintainable because, as we have discussed here before, by going to what we in the vernacular call a carnivore lifestyle, all he has done is removed through a process of elimination 1/3 of his macronutrients, right? So
Totally.
God has removed carbohydrates. He still enjoys fat and he still enjoys protein, normally bundled together.
Totally.
So he's eating 66% of his prior diet. So it's not as if he went into this radical removal of food or diet or macronutrients. He just got rid of one of three. If you bat 66% in the baseball, and you're well, heck, if you bat 33%, you're in a Hall of Fame, right? So
Totally.
we are not weird or freakish. We're just saying until we get healthy, we need to remove this one macronutrient that has led us to a lot of poor habits. Most people in this way of eating for an extended period of time lose the desire to eat these negative impacting types of and subtypes. Like for me, milkshakes, those were my kryptonite. For some, like carnivore nana and others, ice cream. For me, donuts. I host a monthly men's uh, breakfast with donuts, and it doesn't bother me to not eat them now because I've gotten beyond the addiction. God has had a great success, but he's done this in a sustainable way.
Yeah, this is the easiest thing I've ever done. Like this is what's so freeing about it is the fact that it's like so taken care of now because its days are numbered because it's just so easy to stay on this now that the hard part's over. The hard part, the carb cravings, the addiction, all that stuff. I mean, that's all dead now, you know?
Right. I think the other thing is that Todd can attest to, and I know Lindy can attest to, and others too, is this tremendous sense of freedom when you can pass by these things that used to call to you, and now you go no. Or if like yesterday when I decided to have collard greens, I had them and I didn't die, and I had one slice of a peach in a peach cobbler and about that much crust, one finger of crust from peach cobbler. I didn't die. I didn't run off and have to stuff my face with all sorts of other things because I said, I'm going to have this one thing.
Right?
I'm still going to stay in this lifestyle that says, before I used to come home and if I got stressed, like today I got stressed, I got a phone call. My friend, the patient, the grandfather, the 240-pound man was on the floor. He'd fallen out of his wheelchair. He couldn't get up. So he called me. I rushed over to his house, picked him up, which was a feat.
Right.
But when I got home, I didn't go right to the pantry to the Candy Crush chocolate chip cookies and eat some coated in butter, right?
Right.
I didn't go and eat a whole bunch of sweet things and get a big milkshake, a chocolate milkshake.
Right.
Beyond that now, I can have my carbs when I decide I want to for the social reason or whatever. but they don't drive my life anymore. They're done.
Totally. Sorry, I never know how to share a screen on here. So when you share a screen on here, does it have to be in Chrome or can it just be on the back?
When you hit share screen, you should get up a little sub one. It should show all the screens you could share.
Okay, I'm gonna give this a shot.
Okay. So, well, it should say present, right?
Yep, and I click that, and let's see, it says share screen.
You
Yes.
want to, you want to say you want to say. Well, first of all, let me to do this right. I have to remove that first. To remove what I had. Let me see. Stop screen. Okay.
Oh, there we go. I
I'll go
finally,
present. Share
yeah, I
screen.
found it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I
Go
was
ahead.
gonna share this one.
Go ahead.
So can you see that?
No.
Hmm.
Oh wait, wait,
Says
wait,
you
wait, wait,
can.
wait. I can do it. There it is.
Okay, perfect. That picture, I was 27 years old, and I was actually 80 pounds lighter than I am right now. That
Uh,
was that was my wedding picture. But if you that was 13 and a half years ago, and I was 80 pounds lighter. Now how do I unshare this?
I do it. There. You're still on a stage and you unshared it, but I had to take it off first.
Okay, no worries. I just went. I'm trying to. Okay, so I got to move that, and then and anyhow, just well, whatever. I could share this one too for a comparison. But all I was saying, what blew my mind when I saw that was that because I'm still a way big guy. I don't know. Here's one that's more recent, but my body composition. I'm 80 pounds more heavy right now in this picture than I was when I got married.
Right.
But everything is now turning to muscle and it's in my shoulders, like my posture. Everything's just thinner, slimmer, and it's all turning to muscle. And it's the craziest thing. That body composition stuff is very, very real, you know?
It absolutely is. It absolutely is. And I tell you what, it just takes time. I mean, you put yourself in there a hard way, you got to get out a hard way. But I have found the path to disease and discomfort and all what we were was a slow and insidious process that took place over years.
Right.
But 1 year of focused effort takes most of it away.
For sure.
So it's
I,
quicker on the way down than it was on the way up, but the effort is greater.
that's true. And I also think, I was thinking about that the other day. One of the things when I was doing all the starvation and standard American diets is,
Hmm.
you hear you walk 10 miles in the woods, you got to walk 10 miles out.
Right?
It's absolutely, Lindy. It's true to an extent, but I think we do have this tool that we don't realize how amazing it is, and our bodies are actually pretty outstandingly amazing pieces of equipment. We would have been with as bad as we treated our bodies to get into the shape that we were in. It actually did an incredible job of keeping the wolves away for us for a long, long time. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so we had our bodies fighting, the putting up the resistance to keep us as healthy as could be under the circumstances. But when we feed it carnivore and we give it the fat and the protein and the nutrition and we keep from poison it every day, it's incredible what this body can do in a year, you know?
It is. And I was reading in a lot about autophagy about a year ago.
Yeah,
And reading that about how the body is able to go to things and unzip things and take pieces and clip pieces at once to go make other things. And
right.
our body is so. Hello, carnivore transformer. Good to see you, buddy. Welcome to the mix here. But yeah, it is absolutely amazing what our bodies can do given the basic ingredient. So what I encourage for all of us to wrap our minds around is our body will take what we give it and will make with it what it can. Right?
For
Our
sure.
bodies are wonderfully and beautifully and mysteriously created, and as a kid, I used to make mud pies. I don't know if you all ever made mud pies. I still remember making mud pies because I liked making them, right?
Right.
And our bodies will make what it can with what it has, wrong, right, or indifferent. And the body wants to continue, right?
For sure.
So the question we have left is, are we going to give our bodies what it prefers? Are we going to allow our body time to work with this new material set that we've given it, right? No,
Right.
Todd, you do a lot of electrical stuff, right?
Mhm.
You have different properties on a copper wire versus an aluminum wire, right? Uh,
Totally different conductive properties.
and gauges and distances, all of those play a part in your scoping a project to deliver whatever was requested at the one end and know what to put in at the other end, right?
Right.
Our body's the same way. Inputs, delivery time cycle, distance, outputs.
Right.
And when we realize that we're putting
Oh,
chemical
hey.
substrate,
Sorry, I didn't see you, Graham. Hi, Graham. Sorry.
when we're putting chemical substrates in our body, we're telling our body, now think about this. This is an epiphany almost. When we pick up a carrot to eat or a sweet potato, right, Dawn? We pick something up. We're telling our body we think this is good. Our body then goes through a subroutine set, a cascade of events, because we told our body that sweet potato was good,
Right.
or the tobacco was good, or the alcohol was good, or the Twinkie, right? Because it's your hand cognizantly putting into your mouth. Because most people don't realize we're basically a worm with arms and legs. And we have arms
Right.
and legs to get food or to defend ourselves, right? And we're a tube. And our brain says, well, if my hand got it, it has to be something I want.
Right.
Well, it turns the table around and says, I want that because it tastes good or feels good, right?
Right.
But we're telling the chemistry set of our stomach and our intestines, make me with this. And
Right.
your body says, okay, hold
Right.
my beer. And it makes, and you say, but why do I look like crud? Well, you look like crud because you gave it a substrate that's cruddy,
Right.
right?
For sure. Yep.
So when we, through our efforts, r- grab things that are providing the substrate we need, the proteins and the fats, because our liver can make all our carbs, then our body starts to make the right thing. And then all of a sudden, all these dormant capabilities that are associated with a proper human diet, epigenetics, all of a sudden, those become available to us. And your body goes,
Right.
oh, well, I can do this. And I can do, well, look, I can build muscle and I can take away fat and I can keep, oh, look at this. I feel so good. And I'm so strong. I'm not fighting 100 fires everywhere else in the body. I can beat that simple cold virus and you don't get colds anymore. I can
Right.
beat down that flu virus. Now, maybe you get the flu, but you get a much more subdued version, right?
Right.
As somebody else pointed out, I think it was Bubba Robb said, we use the word cure too quickly, right? But maybe you don't need a cure. Maybe what you need to do is stop shooting yourself in the foot.
Right. For sure. Well, and yeah, for sure. That is a fact, because we don't cure ourselves anyhow. Our body does, but we give our body the building blocks and then it can cure it. And
That's
so
right.
I think we're always in kind of that process, one way or another. Our, our body's always trying to make us the best we can be. But I was just thinking it the other day because I'm just so surprised. It's been almost 11 months now. And I thought where I'm at right now, I thought it would take 2 years or more to get to. And I wasn't even sure it could get here and how fast it did. And I was like, man, it really is incredible how fast this body, when given the things that it needs, can really get you pretty far, when it's running on all cylinders. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, hey, Maribel, if you're on day 4, no sugar, hang in there. Hang in there. Keep the
Yep.
faith. It's not gonna no one's gonna say it's easy, but it's definitely worth it.
Hey, Graham.
Yeah. As I said earlier, if you missed it, we were talking about the fact that I can see these things on my feet called ankles now. And I have to laugh because I said, I came for the steak, but I'm staying for the ankles. Anyway, yep, but good to see. I'm glad to see so many people here. Thank you for commenting. Hello, Sandra. Good to see you. Yeah, your hand reaching forward anyway. I get it. I get it. I get it. And by the way, Kimberly up here, that's why I say that. We have a lot of believers in the carnivore field and area. We
Absolutely.
have some people who don't profess, but that's okay. I love everybody because that's what we're told to do. And I just think that here we are unashamed, we are unabashed about our faith, but by the same word, we don't bash our faith either or bash people with it. Lisa, good to see you. But keep the stinking sweet potatoes out of your life for now, okay? There you go.
Mm.
What do we have here? Hey, Maribel says, did someone did a blind test, tried different ice cream, but they couldn't tell the flavor? Yeah, that's right. Did you know that if you take a Coke can, I want to say, I'm going to use a number. I don't know if this is the right number, but there's a number. If you look at the Coke can and you take it down to 60 feet under the water, maybe 20 meters, which would be like roughly 60 feet, and people will say, yeah, it's a red Coke can, right? The problem is you can't see red at that level because of the water and what it does. You can't see that wavelength, but your brain fills it in. So,
That's funny.
yeah. Dawn, exactly. Wonderfully made. Yes, right. What do we have here? Yeah. Oh, yep, 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 yep. Good. I don't want anybody suffering from nothing. Yep. Yeah, right. Same here. Nope, kick a butt. Yeah, my own butt. Yeah. We are blessed. Amen. Now we are caught up, and I like to catch up, because I know when I am out there in comment land, it's good to get acknowledged, see it.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, and for sure. Yeah, I got in hot water the other day, and our podcast, our live stream, me and Lindy's ended up going 5 hours because I got so behind on chats. I got us in trouble.
Well,
Uh,
that happened. So, Kim, I am 3 months into carnivore, but I know that many are believe that's right. You know, again, I've seen comments. I've seen people even post videos saying is carnivore Christian and all this, right? And you know, I'm not going to get into parsing hairs with doctrine. I'm not going to do it. But what I am going to sit there and say is when I read, and I read every day, when I read, it's what we it's what comes out of us that is a problematic, not what goes into us. And that was where we were told, hey, you can eat this, but just because you can doesn't mean you should eat the same thing like that all the time. Like, you can eat ice cream, but Nana would tell you you can't eat it every day. Yeah, right. So I think that there is a there is a sense of propriety. Is that the right word there, Todd? There's
yeah, proprietary.
yeah, there's a sense of being of understanding. Just because you can doesn't mean you
Oh,
should.
yeah. Yep, absolutely. Yeah, and I get the same thing, because I'm a huge proponent of carnivore, obviously, but I also, as a Christian, I don't, God made the Garden of Eden, not the meat locker of Eden. So I believe there is a point to some vegetables. I don't know if we screwed them up. I don't know if I just was in the other ditch for so long that this is the cure for me right now. I don't know, because they talk about how we changed the seed through botany through many years, and there's much more fructose and everything, and we screwed up the original seed. Could be, I have no idea. I know that this is really helping my body right now. I personally think that when you're healthy and your body has the correct building blocks, and if we got away from all these toxins that are not just in the food but in the plastic and in the air and the things that we touch, there's no telling how much this is all having an effect on us, right? And so, for whatever reason, right now, for a lot of people, the real true blue answer is a high fat, high protein, animal based elimination diet. And it is working spectacularly. And at least that can get us all back to a super solid foundation and baseline where then we can go have the strength and the mental ability to go test these things and do it logically and with, you know, a better chance at finding out what's optimal. I think right now, I think we just have to find an optimal diet, but this is a great baseline. So I'm not going to say that those guys that eat a little bit of fruit or whatever are wrong. I'm just saying, I know that it throws me into a tailspin with the sugar craving, so I'm just not doing it right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do, and I think you touched on something that gets enumerated many times in many videos and live streams, and that is you are where you are now, and you need to know what is good for you now. What is good for you today may not be where you'll be in 6 months. What
Right.
you crave today, you may not crave at all in 6 months, right?
For sure.
So it's having the what is the word I'm looking for? It's having the understanding and communication with your body for what you're ingesting and what it's doing to you today, and not saying and being so dogmatic that in 3 months, 6 months, or a year, that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to eat
Right.
24 eggs every day. All right.
Totally.
Instead, it's about saying, hey, look, I'm learning to listen to my body. I'm learning to listen to my mental state. And I'm also, important for me, cognizant that my spiritual state has a very important aspect as well.
For sure.
And I believe that when you're so for me, to my understanding, when you're well rested, you'll dream. So if you're not dreaming, you're probably not well rested, right? People have the watches now to tell them where they're at and how much good sleep they're having and not sleep because of restfulness, or if you have a CPAP on, all those things, right? I think the idea is over a period of time, what you're doing today will not hold true for you at a later time. But it may be that you'll never eat a sweet potato again, Dawn.
Right.
And if you have to surrender sweet potatoes for a higher quality of life, I feel confident that you'll wave goodbye to the sweet potatoes, right?
Right. And
Right.
how freeing is this where you get on this diet when it frees you from all the addiction, right? And all that stuff where it's easy to make that choice now. Wouldn't it crazy when you were someplace where you actually contemplated on not getting better because of a sweet potato? You know what I mean?
Right. Or you find out something that's a suitable replacement, or like we found with here, what we talked about here, cabbage. Now, look, when I went to school for survival schools, what we were taught was, and they're teaching the scouts too. You're out there, you're in a foreign place, you're unsure what you're seeing. You take a piece of veg or an animal, whatever, and you take a piece, you open it up, and you put it against your wrist, and you tie a scarf or something around it, right? Look
Hmm.
at it in a couple hours and see if it caused any reaction to your skin. Then put it in a pot and boil it twice. You want to boil it, clean it, rinse it, boil it once, because it's not acidic foods, but it's foods that are super high in alkaline that will just absolutely kill you dead, right? So
Right.
you're going to boil it twice, once for bugs and everything, but the other to get the alkaline thing. So when you talk about cabbage, raw cabbage versus cooked cabbage, You're chemically changing through heat. People don't realize that heat chemically change. Did you know that when you roast coffee, there are like 1,200 chemical reactions that go through coffee beans?
No.
Yeah, it's amazing science. I love the science. Yeah, but you change a coffee bean dramatically, heating it, right? Well, the same thing. How the simple one. When you heat egg white, what happens? It denatures, and all of a sudden it goes from a goop to a solid like that, right? Same thing
Yeah.
with crabs. If you don't cook a crab in hot water, you're not getting as much as you do from anything else.
Right.
So Don
For
said
sure.
genetics. You know what? Here's a good one for you, Don. Just my opinion. Don't you think God knew this? When God made us, and now scientists say we have 94% or 97, 94% of our DNA is quote unquote junk DNA. Maybe it just hasn't got its purpose yet, but God said it and made it and put it in us for dealing with microplastics, radiation from electromagnetics, right? None of this surprised God. He's got it under control.
For
Now,
sure.
is it going to happen as quick as we personally want it? No, but it's going to be okay. We know the end of the story.
Have you ever tried any grounding therapy before?
Grounding therapy, have I tried it? No, but I've lived because I was well grounded in a high current situation.
that's that's pretty good therapy too. But no, actually, when I was sick with COVID, when I before all this, I actually did a little research on it. It just made sense to me, so I bought those grounded pillowcases and grounded sheets and stuff. And I'll be danged if those things don't make me sleep better.
Well, so our body is full of current.
Absolutely. Static electricity is anybody that says that you don't store any static magnetic electrical charges. Have you ever touched grounded yourself and watched static electricity come at you? I mean,
Have
there's
you ever not? Have you ever not seen the sheets pull apart, or the socks from the dryer, or
right.
we are
I
full.
mean,
Why do we take electrolytes?
right, for exactly because we are one giant conductor for the most part.
We're not only a conductor, we generate,
We do. Yeah,
right?
we
So
do.
the challenge is to wrap our heads around the. We get caught up on scale, right? If it doesn't say megawatt, it doesn't count, right?
Right.
But then when we find out, and all about amperage, right?
Hmm.
I can have a lot of watts, right? Or a lot of volts. If I don't have any amperage, I'm maybe safe. The the Van de Graaff machine, right?
Hmm.
Static electricity generator, right? Huge bolts of energy, but no amperage, right?
Right. No amperage, just like a horse fence, just like anything else.
Right,
It only takes a quarter of an amp to stop your heart.
right. So I think, okay, Transformer, have a
See you,
blessed day
Graham.
yourself. But I think that the idea is that when you talk about grounding, let's talk about what's the opposite of grounding. Tell me.
Isolation, which is storing magnetic frequencies. So I mean, that's how a transformer works. There's no, in the transformer that's outside everybody's house, there's no physical metal connection between the windings in that transformer.
Right.
It's magnetic lines of
Induction.
flux in the induction in the air, you know?
So if we sometimes we learn not by what something is, but by what something isn't, right?
Hmm.
All right, Arlene, good night. Take care. God bless. Thank you. Thank you to everybody who came in tonight and then going in and out. We're just going on and on here because that's what we do here. So if we understand, okay, let's take another one. Let's take something crude. Because sometimes models work better when they're simplified, right?
For sure.
Constipation, right? Nobody in this adult form would say constipation is a healthy thing, right?
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So, what is constipation? Constipation is an interruption to the regular flow, right? Your body has an expectation to move things along. If it doesn't move things along and it backs up, then you're not able to filter, to reduce, to remove, etc. ad nauseum. And then you eventually get to a point where you have physical distress. And then that physical distress becomes obstructive distress, which becomes then a super bad leaky gut and all that other stuff, right? And then you die.
Right.
And then you die. And I hate that, right?
Right.
If we can be physically constipated, if your biliary ducts get constipated or your gallbladder or your kidneys get constipated, back up, negative consequences, right?
Oh, for sure. I have constipated lymphatic ducts right now.
Right, right.
You know.
Then what's to say why not extend or extrapolate? I think that would be the proper word, extrapolate. Extrapolate that to other flows within the body,
Right.
right? What happens if you don't get the fluid in your brain able to drain?
Right. Yeah. Your spinal tap or spinal fluid.
Yeah. What
Yeah.
if you don't get the infectious pockets in your jaw to drain?
Right.
Right. We told. What if you don't get your sinuses to drain? All right.
Right.
Elevate our thoughts to apply the same principles, albeit in a different physics, to electrical paths.
Right.
Makes sense.
Right.
Now, Todd, if you're a man who thinks a lot, who stresses a lot, do you think that there's a chance that you're creating more electrical impulses?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it almost has to because any kind of movement or activity is going to create those very things. You know, it's just like anything moving in a magnetic field is going to create some kind of energy, you know?
Right. Good night, Laura. Thank you for coming by. Yeah, so if you're stressed, you're sitting down, you're not doing any biomechanical stuff. You're in your shoes, you're in your socks, you're on luxury vinyl planking, standing on cement, whatever, and you never touch the ground.
Right? You never
How
get
does your
grounded.
body balance?
Yep, for sure. And then
So
especially when you think about how, you know, I believe like pretty much all the vitamins in the soil come from the sun, right? And then you're sitting here isolated because one thing, when you are grounded, you are a path, right? So you're basically a conduit, right? You're like an open valve, so things can run through you. And I often wonder, you know, that's like how much vitamins and how much, you know, good frequency and are you getting out of the sun when you're out in the sun if you're not grounded, because then you're isolated, right? It's just like a broken connection. You know, you can't have electricity flow if there's not a path, right? So
but there's an important distinction here. I don't discount that in a macro sense, but
mhm,
in a micro sense, no, to make vitamin D, right?
mhm.
Okay, so sunlight hits your skin, then through the fat in your skin, a process happens where you end up with vitamin D, right?
Right, right,
And if you have too much adipose tissue, the fat just absorbs it and never gets into your body, but it stays isolated within your subcutaneous fat. All right.
right. That's why you take K2 or whatever.
Right. But the idea is there are processes that are maybe, for lack of a better word, sub processes or micro or localized processes that don't depend on you being grounded. Now, it may be that by being grounded, you would do it
Yeah,
better.
you're talking about a closed system.
Right. You may have some capacity as a closed system. All right.
Right, for
But
sure.
but you'd be optimized if you were able to be a little bit barefoot because, you know, I don't believe our system is developed or designed in an absence of secondary and tertiary manners to get it done.
Right. Right. And that's what I'm saying. There's two sides to that coin. So what I'm saying is we have a closed system that holds static electrical and magnetic charges through, you know, different light frequencies that we have in all these fluorescent and LED lights that we use, different, Bluetooth and Wi-Fi signals and God only knows what else, and speakers and blue light coming from our monitors. We're picking up small pieces of all sorts of uh see Steve, we're picking up all sorts of pieces of different magnetic frequencies that we're holding these charges. And then also we're not only not discharging them by being grounded and getting rid of the uh, basically these nonlinear frequencies out of our cells and stuff, but also we're not I don't think we're absorbing as much light as we think we are, because light is a frequency, and when you're not grounded, I think you're getting minimal amount of what you think you are unless you're grounded, and I come to find that out.
As a ham radio operator, one thing we learned about is balancing your antenna, right?
Right.
If you don't have
Yeah.
a balance there, you can put in all the watts you want. You put in all the power you want, right?
Right.
That's
Attenuation.
more of a problem, right?
Right.
So I don't like I said. I want to make sure that I'm clear in saying I don't believe it's woo-woo type of stuff, but I also believe that there are ways to mitigate it so that we get enough of what we need. Take, for instance, vitamin C, right?
Yeah.
We joke about not having scurvy
Right.
being in this way of life, right? But we know that the science says, yes, you still need vitamin C, but you can get enough of it from eating meat, particularly organ meat, right?
Totally.
I think the same may be true for the discharging, balancing, and thinking about the multiple spectral analyses that you were talking about, all these different energy. And that's what I was saying. Okay, so again, I have to keep things simple for Scotty. I'm not an engineer, so we got to keep it simple. And to simplify it for me is to say, can I apply a thought process over multiple domains? Is it plausible, feasible, and reasonable that this, for it to be a truth, it should apply somehow equally across multiple domains? Not all domains, but most of them, right? When you talk
Right.
about Bayes' ballast laws, or you talk about if I increase the flow but I restrict the space, I have to increase the pressure, right? Those relationships. I don't care where you're at, whether it's
Right.
milk or electricity, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder that we are capable of doing things through multiple modalities, but did not our bodies get designed by a maker who understood what the future was?
Right. Totally.
So if we know what the future was, then our body was designed to cope with it. And I don't think anything catches God by surprise.
No, I'm certain of that for sure as well. Yeah.
So then if that's the case, then I'm not worried about GMGOs or Bluetooth. Now, that doesn't mean I'm stupid and I want to put the cell phone in my pocket by the family jewels if I'm a young man. Okay.
Right. Totally.
But it doesn't mean that I want to eat every new food that's ever designed.
Right.
But it also means I'm not afraid of it because it's all been figured out.
Was it? I was just reading that one.
Yeah. Yeah, bare feet. I got to be honest with you. When you talk about never got sick either, when I was stationed over in the berry wag, right? The finger, when I was stationed in Germany, I lived with this German girl for a number of years. Tried to marry her, didn't work out. Anyway, obviously, but she always told me that if I didn't wear slippers around the house, I was going to get sick. I grew up in the desert. We used to run the streets of the mean streets of El Paso, Texas, as a kid, barefoot, playing football in the street barefoot, running through the desert barefoot. Right? We had shoes, but we didn't have many of them, so we didn't want to tear them up. I never got sick. I'd walk out in the snow. I was out in on maneuvers in the military, standing in snow to my kneecaps, relieving myself in the middle of the night. Not a problem. I met her, heard this all the time, started wearing shoes and socks all the time. And then for years, until about 2 years ago, for years, if I went around the house, even though my house is kept at a balmy 73 degrees, right? 3 minutes without it, and snot would run down my face because I thought that was the expected behavior to cold feet.
Right.
Now I said, no, I ain't got time for that. I'm not putting on all that stuff, right? Right here, we're told right here, a lot of it's right in here. Our health is right there. And I think that um, we get told stuff and somebody has authority and we will just run with that and let that dictate our lives. And that's not right. Like
Yeah.
taking statin drugs.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you get used to making concessions over strangest things, and you get very programmed into those things. My dad, always talked about the if you put a frog in a cage, right, and it's 18 inches high, that's all the further, after like, I think they said after 4 months or something, that's all the further that frog will ever jump.
Hmm.
Same thing. It's just in their head.
And I love that verse there, Don. That's absolutely, absolutely true. It says, for all your worry, you won't add another hour to your life.
Hmm.
So, okay, so we're like 3 minutes from shutting down. So we'll get to our final statement here. So after you get a drink there, Todd, I'm gonna give you a minute or so and just share some closing thoughts that you might have going into Friday. What do you got, boss?
Oh, I'd just say, you know, pick some things up that you want to try to tackle this week, man. It's for me, it's getting fun, kind of like you were saying earlier. It's good, really fun to be able to tackle these things one at a time. They used to be real big things, and now that I'm adding up some big numbers, going on a year without sugar, caffeine, carbs, you know, process anything, all these little things, got rid of the coffee and the tea and all this stuff. It's getting really fun just to see how far you can push it. That's kind of where this Copenhagen going, getting rid of that is like, I finally feel like this is going to be really easy to tackle, and it's starting to feel really good not to be dominated by anything. So I just say definitely get on carnivore if you can, if you got these problems, and then it just starts growing as almost like a life mantra or something to start picking these things off.
Yeah, I think that snowball effect is an absolute truth. We see it replicated, like I said, in multiple domains. You can snowball your debt, right? Isn't that what
Totally.
we hear? You can do a lot of things when you sit there and say, I don't have to have everything right now. I can have them over time as I knock them down one at a time. And next thing you know, you've accomplished great things, right?
For
And
sure.
when you start to design a circuit or design a building or whatever it is you're designing, you don't go open a piece of paper and go, oh, it's done. You've got to start and build, and you may have to go back and redraw. You may have to reconsider some new inputs and go back and
Right.
go, oh, now all of a sudden they want a charging station for EVs. How many EVs? You might have to go back to the drawing board. Now I have to put in different wiring. the same thing holds true. As we go through this effort in our lives, we will go back to the drawing board. Do not be afraid to reconsider your position.
For sure.
It's not a hill to die on. It's, hey, you know what? We found out, Dawn, don't eat sweet potatoes. You went, you did it, didn't work out. Fine. File that factoid in the back, press on, right? But I think for me, to close up today, for all of us, since we have so many great believers here, this is what I think. Today is Thursday. I don't know when you may go to church. I don't know where you will go to church. I don't know if you go to church. But shouldn't we plan our largest or biggest, our most time consumed, if we would, point of worship to God, at least as well as we plan a trip with the family to go somewhere? We will spend days, if not weeks, planning our trip. And then the day of the trip, right, to go to, I'll say Disney, for lack of a better word, or Yellowstone, or whatever you want to do, right? Shouldn't we plan for our opportunity to worship the same way? So I say that very often in my other channel where I do my Bible reading, that let's be about preparing our hearts so that when Sunday comes around, we change our schedule for Saturday to do it on Friday. So whatever we do, if Sunday, the prototypical day for worship, is your day of worship, try to do on Friday what you do on Saturday. So that when Saturday rolls around, you're freed up. If you need to iron a shirt, get gas in the car, do your shopping, so that when you get to your house of worship, that you can fully engage in that. And that's the same thing we do for our way of eating too. Right, Todd? You prepare things, you buy the right things, you set your goals to be in alignment. Well, let's do the same thing with our worship, so that when you get to church on Sunday, if you do bedside church, I understand people do bedside church, then by all means, be prepared so that when you do it, you are unencumbered by all the things that seem to get in the way. So you get there and you worship as completely as you can. And that is my thing. I wanted everybody to know as we go into the weekend, because I don't have a scheduled time to come back. This is Thursday, my last quote unquote night of the week. Take advantage of the opportunity you have to worship. Be sure to repent. And then just, we are all children, all of us believers have been guaranteed to be in the kingdom of heaven with God. And Jesus is charged with holding on to us, and he will not let go of us. If we believe that, then what's left to do?
Nothing.
No. Pour into other people. Right.
Yeah.
All we have left to do. So Ecclesiastes comes into understanding when the richest, most knowledgeable, most wise man says nothing matters but to do God's work, to serve God, right? The past 2 weeks working with Jerry and doing things, that have become crystal clear to me. Given that I've got the kingdom of heaven guaranteed to me, given that nothing in this world will ever have anything for me except the people, and to be the salt that's needed in other people's lives, to pour in and to be something valuable to them, that's all that's left. I mean, I'm old. I already had my kids. I've already done all that. You know what I mean? I understand when you take on those things, those are important things to do. I'm not trying to ever say that family is not important. But what I'm saying, for me, at this point in time, all I have left is to pour into others. I have nothing left to do. I've already been guaranteed. Now, does that mean my life's going to be perfect and easy? No. But what it does mean is there's nothing this world holds for me that I need to surrender my position of faith for. And given that, I feel pretty good.
Right.
So with that, I'm going to let you all go. Thank you so much for everybody being here. Thank you for those who stayed to the bloody end, so to speak. Todd, thank you for coming in and being courageous to join in the stream and to share your witness, your testimony, and congratulations to you for getting on to the next big thing, which is that Copenhagen.
For sure. I appreciate it, man. Always fun to hang out with you, and I appreciate you having me on, man.
All right, now you take care. All right.
You too. We'll see you guys.
All right. God bless.
Thanks for
Y'all have a
stopping
good
in.
night. We'll see you around. Bye bye.
See ya.